Hello, everybody. How are you do? How are you do, everybody? You doing good? Hold on. Just making sure everything is... making sure everything is set up the way it needs to be. Oh god, he's doing the penis voice. Who's hyped for Zero Kamikaze Squirrel remaster? What is that? Maybe Chris is being canceled for that nondescript Eastern European accent? Maybe. Chris, you just interrupted me from listening to Snark Tank episode 46. What the fuck are you doing that far back, dude? Get out of there. Get out. Come back. Come back to the land of the present. You shouldn't be that far away. Thoughts on Chris Raygun? Seems like a dick. Explain? Looking for clips to cancel you with? Thanks for oh, there's gonna be a lot on the Snark Tank. That's like the point of the Snark Tank in some way. Thanks for streaming, so I have another excuse to procrastinate on university work. Always happy to help, but you should definitely get your shit done. Try and work along with me. I read through the pipeline that Chris might be trans. Secret's out. I was watching the most recent one, but paused to eat, then lo and behold, this fucking notification assails me. Yeah, I wasn't going to stream today. I was actually thinking of a different... So for anybody curious, there's a brand new... There's an exposed video on me and iDubbbz that just kind of came out... What was it? A week ago now. I didn't hear about it until, like, today. You know, so it's very clearly... It's very clearly an effective one. But initially I woke up today, I was like, all right, you know what? I think I'm gonna make a video about this. Like, I'll make a video about this video. And then I thought, I don't know, because I don't know if I want to do videos. I don't know if I want to dedicate, like, time, effort, and talent to, like, constructing a whole video about somebody else's video about me. I feel like I've done too many videos that are, like, explaining my position. You know what I mean? Like, it's not entertaining. But I think it's a pretty decent bit of content for a stream. You know what I mean? I feel like that's a pretty... I don't mind doing it on stream. Bro, you've stayed in your lane talking about games for like 4 years. Why expose you now? Well, that's what's so funny about it. is I don't know. We'll get into it. We'll get into it. But how's everybody doing? Want to make sure everybody in chat's having a good old time. It is... What is it? Tuesday, October 8th. I'd love for you to make video again, but your big comeback being a clapback video seems odd. Yeah, I don't want... Yeah, it's just not necessary. Also, this creator's, like, very small. No offense, but, like, it's got respectable. It's like 11,000 views on 10,000 subscribers, you know? So, not too shabby, but it feels like a bit much. You know? This Ape Escape music is not the vibe. Let's go ahead and move on from this. I saw your tweet. I had trouble with Great Ape Vegeta 2. Dude, he's difficult, to say the least. But how exposed do you feel? I feel pretty exposed, guys. I'm not gonna lie. I'm sick, but recorded a music podcast with Kid Icarus Sunday, so that's sustaining my mood. Oh shit! Congrats, dude. Kid Icarus is great. I was actually supposed to go visit him in 2020, and then the pandemic happened, and then we just never followed up. And I know that he's had some stuff go on in his life, and he's been keeping busy. But big fan of Kid Icarus over here. Great guy. This creator isn't you on your alter ego Grifter channel, is it? Can you imagine if I made an exposed video on myself and then did a video reacting? That'd be crazy. That's big brain. I'm not smart enough for that. I'm not smart enough to to plan that far ahead in advance. Chris, are you familiar with the band Less Than Jake? I am, but I don't. I know what they are. I haven't listened to them. So I guess the answer is no. I'm not familiar with Less Than Jake. He's a fan of my friend, so the opportunity just kind of fell into our laps. He's a genuinely wonderful dude. Yeah. Kid Icarus is great. Good shit. I know nothing about Dragon Ball or Sparking Zero, but even I've heard the Great Ape Vegeta is a monster. Dude, he's so difficult, it's crazy. I think I finished, like, Vegeta's campaign. I finished Frieza's campaign. I finished Goku Black's campaign. But I can't do Goku's because it's like... Ugh. That fight is rough. Quick thoughts on Halo going to UE5. You know what? We'll actually probably do a separate stream for that. I want this to be a little bit more focused. I think it's good, but I don't think the engine is the problem. Long story short. All right, you guys ready to watch? Are you guys ready to watch this video? This little video we have here, taking me to task. Chris, finally, the truth about Chris being a Yoo-hoo drinker will be revealed. That would be fucking embarrassing. I think I would be honestly like really embarrassed if that came out. Also, if that was true. Chris, do you remember the other Snark Tank podcast that changed their name so they didn't have to be associated with your Far Right podcast? They specifically didn't like you personally. No, I don't remember. I don't remember what happened to that one. But whatever. It's water under the bridge at this point. That was like 5 years ago or something. I can't hold on to grudges that long, like personally. Evidently, other people feel a little different. But are we ready to watch this thing? Are we good? How are we feeling? I'm kind of excited. Like, I saw the notification. I saw like somebody made a video about you, and I felt it. So here's the thing, guys. Just to preface this. I get unreasonably excited when I find out that I have made people so angry that they put hours and hours into producing something to dedicate it to their disdain of me. Like, that gets, I don't know what it, I understand like that's not a good instinct to have. I don't like that about myself personally, but I do like being, I don't know how to describe it, but like the fact that me simply existing is that me existing drives people to a genuine point of anger is like, it's kind of intoxicating to me. And I've tried over the years to kind of like not feed into that and not like not feed into that aspect of myself, because I do think it's like mentally unhealthy to get that much of a kick out of that. But I felt it this morning. I was like, ooh. I literally woke up like it was Christmas. Like, I had a smile on my face and everything. It was kind of like shocking to even me, because it's been so long, because I don't really make controversial content anymore. Not really. Or at least not content that would like upset somebody so much that they would make a video about it. But I really I was elated. And so I'm going to try to contain my enjoyment of this whole thing today. But it might slip through, and just understand that I also don't like that. I don't like that this is the way I am, but it is, so we will continue regardless. So this is a video. It's called iDubbbz and Chris Ray Gun. No spaces for Chris Ray Gun, by the way. A little offensive. At least get the name. At least get the name right. But iDubbbz and Chris Ray Gun, raging bigots to self-serving rebrand. Are we ready? Are you ready? This is exciting. That's how I spell it. How dare you? Where should I put the chat? I guess like maybe put it tiny, kind of here, I guess. It's a very specific format. The most controversial thing Chris has done recently is enjoy Starfield. Look, I like Starfield, okay? I don't think it's their best game or anything, but it's, I don't know. I like NASA. I dug the vibe of it. I will say the vibe of Starfield, I think, is like really, really good. And that's kind of what I play Bethesda games for. I actually think like open world exploration is kind of like in general. But anyway, let's move on. Hi, I'm in the description of this silly video. What? That comment really that really threw me off. Have you tried the DLC Woke Raygun Exposed? All right, let's enough beating around the bush. Let's get started. All right. Caucasity.
As you see in the title of the video, I'm coming in strong on this topic. As someone who was in high school during the 2015 to 2017 era of YouTube, that was filled with anti-SJW, Gamergate, and anti-intellectual content, I can surely say that this content impacted Gen Z and younger millennials, let alone their targeted harassment victims, making the internet even more unsafe. I was greatly impacted by this content, especially being the only Black and trans person in Orange County, the Orange County suburbs being the reddest part of SoCal, which constantly alienated me as I spent my entire life being the only Black student in all my classrooms. The normalization of racist and bigoted content.
What is going on with the mixing? Am I crazy?
Constantly alienated me as I spent my entire life being the only Black student in all my classrooms. The normalization of racist and bigoted content.
This is strange. Yeah. Hold on. We're gonna speed it up a little bit. I mean, we'll hear her out. I don't know. I hear Orange County does suck, so we'll see.
Further normalization of the N-word thanks to iDubbbz.
Is that too fast? Maybe 1.25.
His peers. I and other Black people being forced to bear people saying it's just a word as they purposely say it around us. The casual, disingenuous, anti-intellectual, and racist takes on Black Lives Matter made it harder to get progress made in the fight against police brutality. While Black and brown lives were being lost and queer people were fighting for visibility to expand our rights, these so-called edgelords made millions of dollars punching down our marginalized people.
Yo, millions? Let's be clear. I did okay, but no millions. Sorry. That would be I mean, unfortunately, but no millions. Not maybe now. iDubbbz certainly, not me. I didn't get millions.
People. This ultimately created what we know as the alt-right.
I in fact turned down millions, but I'm sure that won't be mentioned.
Pipeline. You start off watching bigoted and racist comedy videos that would lead to even more outwardly right-wing content being recommended in the algorithm. Before a minor and a young college student knows it, they'd end up on a Ben Shapiro, Alex Jones, Richard Spencer, or Stefan Molyneux's videos. This radicalized and indoctrinated so many people, which led to Trump getting elected. I was one of the victims of such a pipeline. When I
Future tip, whatever you need to get a point across, have a white woman be the figurehead. Damn, that's crazy. I want to make it clear that if anybody is like trying to watch this stream for like evidence that like Chris is evil and racist, that was Tom Sweetie. He is a Black man who just said that. That's not me. I don't endorse that.
First found Blair White in 2015.
That's crazy.
Built within me that I was forced onto on my own without any help of the now rebranded bigoted creators. BIPOC and queer people had no choice but to live with the traumas of surviving this hateful content. We were just collateral damage to their means to their ends of making a buck on regressive content. In the second quarter of 2017 was when YouTube finally stepped in and did something about the monetized content since advertisers were pulling away from the platform, forcing these creators to slowly rebrand unless they risk losing their platform or income they made online, making it like...
Whoa. That actually... Hold on, wait a second. Is the implication here that the adpocalypse made right-wing content less profitable? Because that's absolutely not true. It made it less safe on YouTube, but like that actually was like a huge boon for profitability because a lot of content creators were able to say, "Look, they're censoring me. Come support me. Come to my Substack. Come to my Patreon." Because they're trying to keep me down, and when the man is trying to keep you down, when the man is trying to silence you, you must be right. And if you want to piss them off, donate to my Patreon and send me the money instead of watching my ads. It was actually like a lot a lot more profitable to make that kind of content after the adpocalypse. Granted, not through AdSense specifically, but like, dude, it's not even, it is astronomical, the money that you could make pandering, and the money that you had to make pandering after the adpocalypse, specifically because if you just made even keeled normal content that was even like slightly politically tinged in one way or the other, you would get people supporting you for sure. But it wouldn't be this feverish fandom that was like, that believed that the big man was out to get you. You understand? Like, there was like a victim complex kind of at play with a lot of right-wing content creators at the time, where because they were being silenced, it actually allowed them to make the case that there is something bigger keeping them down, and it got more people to flood them with donations, and a lot more people to see them as like important people. Like, oh my God, they're taking down Sargon of Akkad. He must be mega important. If I support Sargon, I'm not only am I supporting Sargon, I'm supporting, you know, free speech. You know what I mean? Do you guys understand what I'm saying? Like, this is a really massive mischaracterization of what the adpocalypse actually was and what it actually did to political discourse. I actually argue that it made it infinitely worse because it made genuine, like, milquetoast, like, normal opinions not profitable. Because it wasn't as sensationalist as the stuff that was going on in circles where people were donating lots and lots of their own personal funds to keep these content creators, like, afloat in a sea of like what they perceive to be intense, what do you call? What the fuck am I? Censorship. Chris, your pop-up window is misaligned and it makes my skull itch. What do you mean? What? My pop-up window? Oh, like what? Like here? You want me to make it bigger, I guess? I don't know. Whatever. Does that make sense? Yeah, like, why would the quartering exist today? Like, it's so much work. Dude, Sneeko, Aiden Ross, like, the idea that me or Shu or like, even, like, most of the people who did suck at that time are anywhere near, like, what we have today in a post-AdSense world is, like, provably insane. The shit that Sneeko and Andrew Tate and all these people say back then would be obviously insane. And, like, no one would be like, dude, it's whatever. We're getting ahead of ourselves. Sorry, that's just like a wild take. You know what I mean? But we'll keep going.
Less lucrative unless you were the top dogs that went further right, like Candace Owens and Blair White. So it's understandable when BIPOC and queer people are skeptical.
Okay, so when you went further, so she's acknowledging that, like, it was way profitable to just go to lean into it. So what's the criticism of me? I'm very curious as to where, like,
we see a 6 to 7 year later.
I only watched like 5 minutes of this, by the way, before I realized, like, oh, I have to react to this on stream.
Their apology after the money was already made, long after houses, cars, high-end clothing, Birkin bags were bought, expensive tattoos, fancy dinners.
A Chris Reagan exposed video today is like making if you hate Justin Bieber meme in 2024. It is kind of crazy.
Investments and more were already made off of racist and bigoted content. So yes, it rings hollow when we get the bare minimum crumbs of an apology that only benefited them since it put their mostly white audience back in good graces with them. They were deemed brand friendly again, which raised their income, giving them even more opportunities outside of YouTube. While many forget all the people they ran off the platform and even the internet altogether, it pisses me off the more I think about it, which now turned into this video essay exploring whether or not these creators have changed and done the needed work to be worthy of forgiveness. So with all that being said, let's jump into this crumb apology that so many kept saying was the best of YouTube apology videos.
For a while, I felt like if I changed my content over time, that people would see that as a reflection of who I am and what I value.
Yeah, so this is just, it makes me mad. Like, is that it? Like, I don't... Also, who is Soul Buddy to be giving out forgiveness? Like, no offense, but, like, what do you... Like, what am I don't know.
But
we're getting ahead of ourselves. I would imagine that most of this is about iDubbbz, but, like, I could be wrong.
I'm starting to realize that that is a very weak and passive way to, you know, run my channel and live my life, and then make a video about how it's okay to say slurs. I think I should have the balls to make an apology video and take accountability for the mistakes I've made. So that's what this video is. I've realized that I need to be crystal clear about what I believe, so there's no room for ambiguity. I am responsible for creating a lot of hurtful and damaging content on this channel, and I've also created a culture of apathy and, I don't know, a lot of like cruelty as well. Like, you know, some of the videos I've made have been very, not edgy. I don't think they you know, some of these videos were edgy. I think they were just outright cruel. So I don't want people to, you know, get it confused about, you know, where I stand. I have made some cruel, hurtful content, and I was being very bigoted in a lot of my videos, and I justified it because, you know, I didn't think it was too serious. And I thought that people were going to see that I had good intentions, you know, but that's so silly, you know. Casual racism is still racism. Casual bigotry is still bigotry.
Good intentions, that means nothing in the long run when the impact is greater than their supposed good intentions and using the N-word uncensored. I also want to say that there's no such thing as casual racism, especially when you're using the N-word. It's just racism. This idea of casual racism is...
It's not ranked competitive. Like, dude, like, the N-word is ranked competitive racism. Casual racism is like that shit that Sweeney does. You know what I mean? Like, there's a difference between... I do think there is a difference. It's not wrong to say that it is just racism ultimately, but like there are degrees to a lot of things. I think there's nuance to be had. I would disagree that Ian said he was being bigoted. Yeah, I mean I've spoken to Ian behind the scenes, and like I don't know, like Ian and I made very, very different content. You know what I mean? So like the way that I feel about the stuff that I made is not the way that he felt about his stuff, and I think that's fine. Like, I don't think it's necessarily like a bad thing that he apologized. I think it's like you got to do what you got to do. You know what I mean? And if you feel compelled to apologize, I mean, you have to understand. Like, Ian was like, people would come up to him on the street and just shout the N-word at him because they just thought like, oh, it's cool. You know what I mean? It's like, so I could see why in that scenario you'd be like, what the fuck have I done? You know what I mean? And there were times where, like, people came up to me, not shouting slurs, but they would, like, come up to me. This is very rare, by the way. I would say, like, maybe, like, 5% of the time that, like, I met anybody on the street who recognized me, they would be, like, the first thing that they would lead into when they were, like, trying to converse with me was, oh, I hate that content creator that you made a video about. She's a real bitch, or she's a jerk. And, like, in those 5% of interactions, I would always be like, oh, well, you know, I mean... Yeah, I don't really hate these people. Like they're just like, they make dumb videos that I think are dumb, and I said my opinion about them. There's no need to feel that intensely. You know what I mean? I would kind of quell it really quick. But if I had people shouting slurs at me across the street, and then like people around me like assuming that like I was cool with that, I think I would feel probably compelled to do what Ian did, at least in some way, just to get some distance, because like there is like, yeah, dude, like that's kind of crazy. And you can't control what people do with your content. Obviously, like your intentions, they do matter. I think the idea that intentions don't matter is really crazy. But you know, the outcome also matters. And so if that's the outcome that you saw your videos having, then like, yeah, I think it's totally valid to apologize. Anyway, I personally just didn't see that coming from me, you know? Anyway.
It's only afforded to white people since they're punching down on everyone else but themselves. It's such a cop-out mentality.
Wait, huh? What?
Casual racism is only afforded to white people since they're punching down on everyone else but themselves.
I don't know if that's necessarily true, but it's not that important.
It's such a cop-out mentality, and to still use that phrase, casual racism, shows me he hasn't dug deep enough, especially when he literally called black people the N-word in his videos, which is an insult to write off as casual racism. This is also the only time in his videos or other appearances where he uses the word racism. He hides behind the words bigoted and harmful, which doesn't necessarily mean racism. You can make bigoted content that isn't racist. It's the fact that he knows that racism stings more than the word bigoted does. This is where I started to peep at the manipulative nature.
This is so nitpicky, it's crazy. Holy shit. You really can't... See, I want this to be a demonstration, by the way, that there really is no winning, right? Like, that's kind of the lesson that I'm taking away from this so far, is that, like, you can either do what iDubbbz did, which is, you know, apologize profusely, admit you were wrong, take a lot of your stuff offline, and really kind of, like, show them in good faith that you're willing to, like, change and be better because they need to see it. Or you can do what I did, which is just not, or just like, you know, if you are going to change, do it for yourself and not for like, you know, the gratification of other people around you. And neither one is okay, really. Neither one is okay because your apology needs to meet my specific criteria. Even though I'm not in any position to award you any type of like forgiveness that means any more than anybody else's forgiveness, like you have to appeal to my specific sense of what an apology means and what it's supposed to convey. Otherwise, it doesn't count. And that's fine. Like, you can choose to accept his apology or not, or you can choose to like look at my feelings on apologies and like disregard them if you want. But the idea that you would get so pissy about it years later is just it's asinine and kind of psychotic, in my opinion. I don't know. That's how I feel at this moment before it even gets to me, you know?
Of his apology. He had the acorns to say the N-word fully uncensored so many times in videos.
By the way, if you ever want to know who's right, think about this. Heels versus Babyface. The fucking pronouns, the fucking alt-right people who are shouting woke all the time, they really don't like me. This person, the really far, even further left than even I am, and I'm like mega far left, like, they don't like me either. So, I don't know. I don't mean to tell you what to think or anything, but I feel like that should say a lot. I feel like that should say really all that needs to be said about, you know, whatever.
That had nothing to do with content cops, so he should have the acorns to say racist in his apology.
Thank you. Thank you for the prime, dude. Yeah, totally.
Video more than once, and definitely not hiding behind the term casual racism.
I know that this...
Yeah, Sargon called me and Shu commie a year ago, yeah. So, I'm a communist, alt-right, Nazi, woke leftist. And... I don't know, man. Choose your fighter, I guess, you know? Do you want the guy who screams about pronouns? The girl who won't accept a heartfelt apology, or the guy that all insane people cannot stand? I don't know.
This apology isn't enough. I've clearly done a lot of damage. You know, these videos have been up for a long time and have accumulated millions of views. I shouldn't be able to just make an apology video and walk away from it. This is something that I should live the rest of my life with, and I expect to. I've profited off of this bigoted content for years, and I've made a successful career out of it, and that's not right. I think that this is only a step in the right direction, and I know that a lot more needs to be done to even approach a life that I would think would be like acceptable. I'm also sorry to all the black viewers and minority groups who had to put up with that video.
Thank you for the prime.
And put up with, you know, the phrases. I said either it's all okay or none of it's okay. And that's just so dangerous and stupid. A very big thing that has sort of altered my view on all of this is just the amount of hate and harassment.
Yeah, I do. I kind of think retrospectively, like, I think I used to agree with that too. Like the idea of like, oh, well, you know, we can't pick and choose. And the reality is, like, we all kind of always pick and choose. Like, you can't really avoid picking and choosing. You can't be consistent on absolutely everything. I mean, even like the way that we feel about homeless people, right? It's like, you know, I don't want to see people on the street homeless, but would I let a stranger on the street into my house? Probably not. I would like to be the kind of person who does that, but you know, we're all kind of hypocrites in some way. But so like the whole it's all okay or none of it's okay, I get the conceptually, I think I agree with it, but I think in practice, it doesn't work as well as it should. I think if we were an ideal species capable of like actually honestly engaging with each other, we could have a conversation or like live a life based on that rule. But I think people are just too flawed, and people are just too like, you know, it is a baby mode thought process. It's a baby mode thought process, but it's also like, it sucks because it is the ideal. You know what I mean? Like, it's an ideal that we can't reach, you know, because we are just inherently flawed, inherently inconsistent. Like, I personally, like, my view on words is that words are ultimately, like, like, physically and literally, words are just words. You know what I mean? There is nothing inherently evil about a slur in a vacuum. You know what I mean? But I do think that that changes when, like, I think there's a massive difference between, like, either just saying the N-word versus, like, calling somebody the N-word. Like, I feel like those are, like, vastly different things, because my view of words are just, like, completely neutral until people, like, actually use them. Like, if you were talking about a slur, like, if you were talking about the word spick, I'm going to say that one because that's the one I'm allowed to say, because I'm a Boricua. But if we're talking about the word spick, there's a difference between me just saying the word spick and, like, calling somebody that's like a like the distance between those things are crazy. You're giving her so much ammo for her next video right now. Whatever, I don't care. It's fine. It's all good. Soul Bunny, if you're watching, I'm genuinely trying to engage with this in, like, an honest way, because it's easy to just shit on things, especially when I think they just deserve to be shit on. But I am trying to, like, turn this into somewhat of a real conversation about something, you know? Anyway.
My wife, Anissa, has received over the years. So thank you for watching, everyone. I do want to create more regular content.
I'm sorry, this is completely unrelated. I just realized you've looked 24 years old for 10 years. What on earth do you do for skincare? Is it legal in the United Kingdom? This is going to probably piss a lot of you people off. I don't do anything. I eat, like, garbage. I do. That's a lie. I don't do as much as people. Okay, let me rephrase that. I don't do as much as you would imagine that I would do. I have, like, an exfoliating face cream. I have cocoa butter. But, like, I don't, like, I'm not like a health nut necessarily. Like, I just, you know, I exfoliate, I shower. I don't know. But I look older. Like, what you're seeing right now is, like, the soft. What do you mean, you people? What you guys are seeing is, like, the lack of high definition on a webcam on a Twitch screen. If you, like, saw me in person, you would see that I'm, like, 30 years old. Like, you would see it. It would be readily apparent. You know? But at a distance, yeah. I'm holding my own, okay? Some extra ammo for the Snark Tank on Patreon.com, perhaps? Maybe. Anyway, let's get back to this. I'm getting derailed a lot.
And, you know, I don't want to just have the next 5 videos be apologies.
He says he shouldn't be able to just make an apology video and walk away from it. But let's see if he does exactly that by the end of the segment. He acknowledged.
But what are you supposed to do? Is he supposed to kill himself? Like, what do you want? It's not that he's just going to make the apology video and it's not going to, like, bother him or plague his, like, conscience for the rest of, like, the number of years that, like, oh, like, what do you, I want to know what people want when people get canceled. Like, what do you want from them? Like, do you want them to die? Like, I don't understand. Like, are you just not allowed to continue your existence? Do you have to, like, go into a completely different field? Do you have to, like, take up welding or something? Like, I don't get what the end goal of an apology is. If not, like, I don't know. Maybe I'm insane, and maybe if Soul Bunny could elaborate on this, maybe she will. Maybe I'm getting a little bit too preemptive here, but, like, you can't just ask people to just die. You know, like, I just don't know what you. I don't know what the request is. You know.
Just thought a sorry won't be enough, and how he profited off of racist and bigoted content. I'm holding him to the fire on the racist part, since he keeps hiding behind the words bigoted. I also noticed he only gives black people 14 seconds as an apology, while giving Tana, a white woman, the majority of it, who also said the N-word. I also dislike how he hides behind the word slurs.
Yeah, I mean, personally, look, Idubbbz feels the way he feels. I don't think Tana deserved an apology, personally, but you know, I'm not the person to make that call.
Say you normalize the usage of the N-word, just how you said it so loudly with your chest when you were profiting from the usage of that racist shock humor. I'll revisit his wife later in the video, but let's laser in on him saying he just wants to make regular content. Like he said, he doesn't want to make 5 apology videos, which is starting to sound like a contradiction to his earlier statements on how he shouldn't just be able to make an apology video and walk away from it all. But let's see what actions he has made since then.
Well, you can't just make apology video. Like, you want him to make more apology videos? Is there like a quota? Like, is it like Hail Mary? This is literally religion. This is like, you say like 8 Hail Marys and then it's okay that you molested a dog. Like, it's like, what do you want?
Before I do, let's peek at a few black people's thoughts on his apology that most of the viewers still weren't checking for, just how we were ignored in 2016.
I appreciate him finally coming out and making this video, but I don't forgive you, mainly because it's too damn late. Like, you waited years to do this. People have been telling you what you was doing was wrong for years. You waited so long, and the fans you pushed into being outright demonic people have already hardened, and they don't need your validation to continue being terrible people. They're gonna watch this and say he's just a soy boy leftist now. Like, they don't need you anymore. So, and you can't apologize and just say, oh, it was bad that I said the N-word. You said it a bunch of times, bro. Several times per video. Like, yeah, it's good to apologize, but no way.
That's facts on an apology being too late now that his ex-fans truly don't need him to validate their hatred. They have hardened, and they did mock iDubbbz for even making an apology video. It's actually 90% of the videos you see when looking up iDubbbz till this day. Another reason why...
Yeah, so is that not... I don't know what you... Like, so he's getting flogged by his ex-community. You're not accepting his... Like, is that not, in and of itself, so much already? Like, to torch your entire kind of brand to the... Like, I don't know, man. I really do get the sense that just like, okay, their goal is to like, we'll only forgive you if you die. And even then, like, that's not a guarantee. So that's not a viable. I wonder if she'll actually like come up with a solution to this, by the way. Like, I wonder if there's like a prescription that she'll give. Like, what can you do, in fact, to actually atone for this stuff? Is it donating a lot of money to charities? Is that not enough? The video is sped up, by the way. It's very slow, and I don't want to spend like hours on this. Anyway, yeah.
I made this video since I didn't see him held to the fire other than from D'Angelo Wallace and Olaimi, who interviewed him. The rest were non-black people who either shout on him or were quick to praise him on his latest hell apology, quickly uplifted him, which drowned out the black, brown, and queer people that should have been listened to at this moment. But just how people didn't care in 2016, they once again ignored what we had to say. But we're long used to that by now. Before I dig deeper on what he has done post-apology, let's peek out a few clips of his first interview after his apology video. Somehow, the amazing Olaimi was able to have an interview and directly challenge him on his past mindset and offered him ways he can improve. Let's hear some of the key moments that stuck out to me that's worth discussing.
In his apology, he singled out only one creator. At first, the only name he singles out to apologize to in this video
is a white woman.
Francesca. Okay, we're right here. We are right.
I mean, you know, I got clocked.
Oh, Francesca's definitely going to come into play here. And I'm so excited.
Not immediately.
But it's even the center of what I believe drove the desire to go this path, because I think his audience, what happened is the audience...
They were attacking his wife.
And that is the tea. And that's the tea.
That's when it got real.
And that's why I'm like, so it got real for you when a white woman was hurt.
I'll be honest, I first didn't think of the Tana angle, so seeing 2 highly respected black women quickly point that out made me feel a little embarrassed with myself, but then quickly turned into anger. Like they said, he centered whiteness even within an apology for anti-blackness and racism towards black people. Francesca Ramsey, one of his victims, who was also one of the largest targets by anti-SJW creators in 2015 through 2017, clocked how it got real for iDubbbz once his wife was impacted. Of course, his wife doesn't deserve any hate she's gotten from iDubbbz fans, but, oh, cool!
That's wild! Women don't deserve hate, but... Dude, you can't tell me that quote wouldn't have been taken out of context from a video like mine in like 2016. It's like, oh, like he's okay with abuse against women sometimes because he has like a butt. You know what I mean? That's so crazy. Dude, Anissa's gotten so much shit for like no reason. It really is it's wild.
Largest targets by anti-SJW.
Maybe Sago, subscribe, tier 1.
Creators in 2015 through 2017 clocked how it got real for iDubbbz once his wife was impacted. Of course, his wife doesn't deserve any hate she's gotten from iDubbbz fans. But let's look deeper into the mindset of ignoring how he hurt a whole generation of black people with no care.
what I find interesting is that even in apologizing for doing racist things, a white woman is who was apologized to, as though there weren't black people who were called the N-word. And I wonder, because that took me down a rabbit hole of watching, you know, videos, and I saw a content cop you did on Jinx.
On camera.
You don't get a break in the beginning. No resting. 100% 24/7 grind.
Damn, this is on the grind.
You call these black people, you call black people themselves the N-word, but they aren't singled out in the apology, and I wonder why it is that that's the case.
This was a royal moment in this interview because I highly doubt it even crossed his mind that he focused so much of his apology to Tana, yet not a single apology to any black creator, as if he didn't call them the N-word multiple times. This shows us he didn't even think as deeply as people who accepted his apology on the behalf of black people stated. It's truly giving PR vibes, but let's keep going.
I totally get Francesca's feelings of like, you can't like undo 5-10 years of harassment that I've received. Like, so I get it. I wish, I mean, all I can think of, you know, at this point is to communicate my headspace and like where I was at the time and how I came to terms with like understanding like my role and responsibility in our community, and just like communicate to that to people, because that's as close as I can get to like undoing things or like fixing things.
Yeah.
I've had to interact with, you know, boxing is a community that has a lot of marginalized people in it. You know, there are a lot of black people in boxing, Mexicans. I mean, it is super popular around the world.
It is a very uncharitable blue. Listen, you don't do something like what iDubbbz did if you don't genuinely feel remorseful about it. And if that's not enough for you, like, that's fine. But like, to act as if there's like more that he can do, like the implication of making a video is that there's a problem to be solved, right? It's like, okay, so here's like this problem with iDubbbz, like here's what can be done to fix it. What is the solution? I don't know.
It's also quite interesting to hear him admit all he can think of was offering crumbs. Crumbs for the hurt, damaged, done, and radicalized fans who harassed and likely voted for Trump, who stripped away rights from marginalized people. I can help but to point out how he said Mexicans instead of Hispanic or Latino people. I'm half Mexican, but I'm well aware of how cringy it is to group all Latino people together under Mexican when that doesn't accurately represent the many different Latino people also. It's weird to group not.
Look, I'm Puerto Rican, the forgotten Latino. The amount of times that Mexican has been used to describe me, or just like the amount of times I've been offhand called Mexican, is it annoying? Yeah. But in the context of this dude clearly like grappling with a lot of like internal like guilt, it's so uncharitable.
Nationalities when you're talking about ethnic and racial group identities, since white people can identify with being Mexican. Say I'm nitpicking, but this stuck out to me.
Huh? Wait, hold up. Wait.
Talking about ethnic and racial group identities, since white people can identify with being Mexican. Latine, it is to group all Latino people together under Mexican.
Oh, fuck, she says Latine. It's okay, Chris. It's okay.
And that doesn't accurately represent the many different Latino people also. It's weird to group nationalities when you're talking about ethnic and racial group identities, since white people can identify with being Mexican.
So the apology to the Mexican community did literally, look, this might be an uncharitable view of what she's saying, maybe. But what I'm hearing, and she can correct me if I'm wrong, it sounds like, listen. It sounds like the apology to Mexicans doesn't count because white Mexicans can also be white. That's kind of what it sounds like. That might be an uncharitable interpretation. I'm willing to accept that that's possible because unlike pretty much everybody on the fucking internet these days, I'm pretty charitable, actually, and open to being incorrect. But that reads as very weird. That's like a weird complaint.
I'm nitpicking, but this stuck out to me.
The way the black people's platforms that you brought down, bring some black people's platforms up.
I think that's a good idea. And I'm going to take your advice on that.
Olani gave a perfect suggestion to iDubbbz on bringing black content creators' platforms up. Yet, a year later, He has not done that, despite him saying it's a great idea since he ran black content creators off the platform. He literally just used this interview as PR and went right back to doing him, confirming his prophecy on how he shouldn't just be able to make an apology and walk away from everything. I even triple-checked when going through his channel, yet I couldn't even find a playlist or community tab post, so my next step was to check his Twitter to give him the benefit of the doubt. But the most he did was quote tweet Olaimi's interview with him. This is why I'm frustrated with the handful of white creators who ran to welcome him with open arms, grinning wide as hell, while he hasn't even attempted to do more than the bare minimum, which was an apology.
What else does he want? What do you suggest something? What do you want him to do?
He got away with making millions on racist, hateful content, and now is deemed brand friendly after his mini apology tour to come off as if he cares, but his lack of action shows otherwise. This makes me think deeper on how his wife was able to benefit from racist N-word saying content. Behind every racist white man is a white woman that loves him, holds him down, and supports the BS, since she directly benefited from racist content that positively impacted her life. Houses bought, luxury items, etc. She was able to have a successful fans account and grow as a streamer. Creator Clash was able to be made. So no, she's not brave or amazing for impacting iDubbbz to shifting, especially now we established that that was a self-serving PR tour. I'm done with that narrative, and people need to think more critically before rushing to forgive someone that didn't directly impact them negatively. This is a miscarriage of justice, and once again, black people are still ignored. I and other black people are forced to live with the trauma of his racist content, and won't ever get the unbearable years of high school back when the N-word was thrown my way by so-called edgy white kids in my suburban area. Trauma that impacted the way I navigate through the world till this day. But that's nothing new for black Americans. Suggestions I can give iDubbbz that I know he won't even bother attempting to remedy are so simple it's enraging. He easily can put together a playlist for black and brown people, do fundraiser streams with large...
What? A playlist? What do you mean? What?
Bother attempting to remedy are so simple it's enraging.
I'm yawning because I'm just genuinely tired. It's not about the video.
He easily can put together a playlist for black and brown people, do fundraiser streams with large content creators to help put together a black creator fund to share the wealth he made off of our suffering. But we all know he's too busy running to the bank with the income he's gained from this apology tour. Believe it or not, iDubbbz isn't even the biggest person I personally have a bone to pick with. Chris Reagan, a slight...
Hey, your boy. All right, here we go. This is what I was waiting for. Damn, I'm like I'm the majority. Oh shit, I'm the majority of the video. Okay. All right, let's see. This video's from 2018 too, I think. Or no, this is pandemic time, I think.
Slightly lesser known, but also had a rebrand after making thousands of dollars off of bigoted, racist, anti-intellectual content. He also was one of Franchesca Ramsey's biggest harassers, as for some reason, he had such a hate boner for her simply making anti-racist content for MTV. The amount of knowledge...
No, I made videos... anti-racist content. The issue wasn't anti-racist. I think I actually have a video too. I think I actually have a video too where it's like you should understand being anti something if you're anti-racist. Like that's why people are anti. I think at the time it was a video about SJW stuff. It's like I think Franchesca or somebody in that crowd was like, I don't understand how you can make being anti something a big part of your like persona, and it's like you're anti-racist. No, like is that not reasonable? Like you know what that means. What's with that half goatee? That was pandemic time, all right? Like we weren't taking care of ourselves around that time. But the idea that like my issue with Franchesca Ramsey was because that she was black is that if that is really the angle here, that's wild. And I'm excited to hear it.
Racist, anti-intellectual content. He also was one of Franchesca Ramsey's biggest harassers, as for some reason, he had such a hate boner for her simply making anti-racist content for MTV. The amount of now deleted Gamergate videos he made, joining in on the dog pile on Arnita Sarkeesian, the wild stuff that would come out of his mouth, and narratives he would push, amazes me somehow how he was able to gracefully rebrand when it wasn't profitable to make the same...
I don't know if this is like, and I don't really care if this is like a brand safe thing to say. Arnita Sarkeesian sucks. Like, there's no... I don't think she should be, like, burned at the stake or, like, executed. But, like, she sucks. Like, her or at least her content sucked. And she was absolutely, like... She was, like, the prototype kind of video game grifter in a lot of ways. Like, there's almost no debating that. Like, any honest person... Like, any real honest person... would tell you that she was just not an honest actor. Did she deserve a lot of the harassment that she got? No, I don't think so. I think it's totally fine to make videos critiquing people. I think it's totally fine to oh, what's this? You think she'll mention and complain about how your dick concertedly? All right, well that didn't happen, but I hope not. My God, I'm so tired of that shit. What the fuck was I saying? Oh, yeah, no, like, I felt like Anita Sarkeesian is just like, look, man, this is an old topic. It's why I don't talk about it anymore. I think still talking about Anita Sarkeesian and still talking about Gamergate is so fucking lame. It's been 10 years. Let it fucking go. She made her bag and she's gone. So what? Like, who cares? But yeah, like, Anita's cringe. Her arguments were bad. Her videos were disingenuous. She never delivered on a lot of her promises. All of this is just objectively true. Like, there's no real room for debate here. But does that mean that she should have, like, been, you know, threatened or, like, had death threats? Does that mean that she should have been stalked or treated like absolute shit? Obviously not. But I think it's fine to make videos, like, you know, diving into what's wrong with the stuff that she says. And that, by the way, extends to everybody, including me. I think this is fine. I think it would have been a lot more interesting for Anita to actually argue against some of the stuff that was being said instead of just like ignoring it and dismissing it. But I also understand on some level where it's just like, well, why the fuck would you even bother? But anyway.
Gamergate videos he made, joining in on the dog pile on Anita.
By the way, those Gamergate videos that I deleted, they're not deleted, they're privated because the quality on them is terrible. It's literally just a logo with like a terrible mic and it's me like ranting, like too didactically. I cared like too much about it at that time. And it's just like, this isn't really like in line with like the stuff that I want people to find when they find this channel, because I don't want people stumbling on that video and then coming to the most recent thing and expecting more of that, you know? So yeah, when is the Gamergate DLC coming out? This is what you're doing instead of sparking. I know. I think we should cancel Chris because he's probably inadvertently killed dozens from seemingly unimportant daily decisions. The logo era is a rough watch. Yeah, like I don't like it very much, but it's an important part of the journey, I think. It's why some of them are still up there. I like to keep like some old videos up just as like a marker of like, hey, this is where I've been. This is like what videos used to be. You know, so some of them are still up. But generally speaking, I want as few of them as possible so that the stuff that I think more accurately speaks to what the channel is today or like has been in recent years is more of the percentage. You know what I mean? How to Lower Your Gun in Halo 3 is a favorite. Oh my God. Oh my God. I really wish these people would leave 2016 in the past. Holy fuck. It's impossible. These are people, you have to understand, people are really incapable of just being normal. Like, this is unquestionably, by the way, like, I don't mean this, I mean, this is going to sound disrespectful because I guess in some ways it ostensibly is. But this is a video by somebody who is terminally online. And I say that as somebody who is trying to not be as terminally online. Like, I recognize it. Like, this is, like, there's not really anything else going on in this person's world. And if there is, it is so tragic that this was, like, a necessary escape. So, I don't know. Your newest video is another decade-old marker because you never... Oh, yeah, I know. I got to make new stuff.
Gamergate videos he made, joining in on the dog pile on Anita Sarkeesian. The wild stuff that would come out of his mouth and narratives he would push amazes me somehow.
This is such an annoying image. We just dated! I just wanted to date. What is this?
How he was able to gracefully rebrand once it wasn't profitable to make the same edgy comedy videos that help lead people to the alt-right pipeline.
Again, very profitable to make edgy alt-right videos. Very profitable to make right-wing content. Far more today than it ever has been in the past, in fact. I literally turned down the promise of millions to specifically avoid doing that. And this is ultimately why this stuff frustrates me. It's like people don't understand. Like, I don't go around and like advertise all of like the good shit I do because I don't think doing good shit and like talking about how you did good shit. Like, I just feel like that it's like people, it's like when people record themselves donating to homeless people. I think it just comes across as disingenuous, but people have no fucking idea how married to my principles I actually am, and that's a little infuriating. I'm not gonna lie. I wish I could like show everybody like this is all the shit that I did specifically that you guys should be fucking worshiping at my feet. Because I could have demolished you. Are you kidding? If I took that money, I would have, dude. I'd have a fucking mansion right now. Like, you have no clue the life I could be living if I chose to sell my soul out. And that's aggravating as hell to know that they just like, they pretend it's like, oh, Chris just fucking sold, he just did this for money. It's like, bitch, I would have had my own skate park. I would have bought a skate park and dropped it on Tim Pool's skate park. Anyway.
Him being the starting
I love that they're using this too, like one of the most ridiculous fucking things of that era.
Yet you'll later see his views on what he calls a narrative. Let's dive right into some of his old content, so you can understand why I, as an ex-viewer, might have a bone to pick with him, and his current positions that you'll see soon enough. Before I do, let's let him speak for himself on how he viewed his content during that era.
It felt at the
I was waiting for the Africa tweet.
Bone to pick with him, and his
Seekping's baby premise is dumb, but I do find it odd that multiculturalism is really only being championed in the white majority nations. Like, everyone's fine with Asia, Africa, India being majority. By the way, Africa's not. These are not accurate. Asia's not a fucking country. Majority native, but it's weird problem in America and Europe for some reason. Now, look, I totally get this. This bothers me to this day that I didn't think about how this could be possibly interpreted. It's fine. It is what it is. We all make mistakes. I love that this is, by the way, the only example of anything even remotely right-leaning from me in the entire history of, like, everything that I've ever done. But the point of this wasn't to say that it was a bad thing. The point of it is to say that why do people care when demographics get changed? You know what I mean? That's kind of, like, the point. And I was trying to, like, tailor it in a specific way to, like, make people kind of think about that. But it was not smart. Because, like, I just don't feel that way, ultimately. I don't care who makes up the majority demographics of any given country. Like, I could give a fuck. I've never cared. So it's just, like, a thought experiment that did not land. But also, I mean, realistically speaking, if I'm going to be a little bit blunt, that JonTron Destiny debate was a disaster. And as somebody who really looked up to John and had just recently met him, I think I was on a little bit more of, like, I think I was just a little bit more defensive of him than I would have been. Because he's obviously, like, a massive inspiration and a massive, like, impact on the channel and the style, you know? And so when you see your boy getting fucking chewed out on social media for a debate that was objectively bad, you know, you kind of want to come to their defense a little bit. And this is, I mean, I acknowledge it. I've talked about this tweet a million times. 2017, though, it is 2024, so this is 7 years ago now. So that's, really great.
Current positions that you'll see.
I love this tweet from 2017 juxtaposed with the phrase current positions. Love it.
Before I do, let's let him speak for himself on how he viewed his content during that era.
It felt at the time like the point of view of the reasonable liberal, the liberal who understood the context of humor, who didn't get bent out of shape over every little thing, just wasn't being voiced. To the point where I thought I was crazy. Like, nobody else thinks this is ridiculous? Am I really the only person who thinks this is all real? It was super alienating, but eventually I did come across, like-minded people.
Don't censor me. Don't censor me, okay? The hell are you doing?
And that content became popular, and, that was that. Fast forward a year or two in late 2015, early 2016, and it became pretty clear that anti-social justice warrior positions, or whatever you want to call it, anti-PC notions, weren't...
Man, my forehead's always been massive. God damn it.
As niche as they used to be. Many high-profile artists, high-profile content creators, all sorts of people were kind of joining in on the fun. Ethan and Gila started poking fun at the whole Humongous situation. PewDiePie was starting to delve into similar topics. It's weird to think about now, but back in the day, back in like 2014, it really did feel like every single popular YouTube content creator, that's PewDiePie, that's Ethan and Gila, that's iDubbbz, that's all these people. And because of that, I no longer felt very compelled to just...
Whoa! That's not how I edited that. Red Letters Gaming, thank you for the Prime. Hold up a second. Hold up. Wait. Something's not at it. Wait, what?
But eventually I did come across, like-minded people, and that content became popular, and,
Wow, that's so wild. It actually jumped to the exact thing that I needed. That happens so rarely. So wait, hold on. Yeah, this was the actual video.
That was that. Fast forward a year or two in late 2015, early 2016, and it became pretty clear that anti-social justice warrior positions, or whatever you want to call it, anti-PC notions, weren't as...
Dude, you could even see, like, how annoyed I am with the terminology. Like, even back then, just, like, woke and just, like... Even anti-SJW back then bothered me.
Niche as they used to be. Many high-profile artists, high-profile content creators, all sorts of people were kind of joining in on the fun. Ethan and Gila started poking fun at the whole Humongous situation. PewDiePie was starting to delve into similar topics. It's weird to think about now, but back in the day, back in like 2014, it really did feel like every single popular YouTube content creator, that's PewDiePie, that's Ethan and Gila, that's iDubbbz, that's all these people. Back then, it felt like all of those people would think like...
Wait, hold up. Oh, thank you, Ben.
Back then, I felt like if those people saw me, they would think I was literally a Nazi. Like, that's how pervasive that attitude was, where you just thought everybody thought these things. But
that's a weird thing to cut out. I mean, it's a weird thing to include also, I guess. But, like, it's weird to, like... cut that there.
Because of that, I no longer felt very compelled to just share my opinion in a serious way. It felt like every single popular YouTube content creator, that's PewDiePie, that's Ethan and Gila, that's iDubbbz, that's all these people. And because of that, I no longer...
You know what I mean? That's a weird... Like, that's a weird thing to not include, because the whole point of that sentence is to talk about the fact that, like, back then it felt like all of those people would have hated you for talking about this stuff. But the thing before kind of implies that it's like, oh, he was doing it because, like, oh, all these people started doing it. You know what I mean? Or, like, all these people were doing it, so, like, that's cool. But that's not... It was literally the opposite. I literally thought that, like, by speaking my mind about this stuff, I was kind of, like, dooming myself. Like, that I would never... You know what I mean? Like, it's... I don't know. It's not that dishonest of an edit, but, like... That's like a weird, I don't know. It's a little weird. Like, you could have just cut it before I even said all that, and I think it would have still been fine.
Felt very compelled to just share my opinion in a serious way. It felt like representation for that point of view was already relatively commonplace. But what I did find was that there was a distinct lack of comedy-focused content based around these kinds of topics.
Notice how he mentioned iDubbbz. This is why we are saying iDubbbz influenced creators to go further, which created a culture of apathy, hatred, racism, and harassment. Chris Ray Gun said it himself. He didn't care to intellectually engage with the left-leaning content he disliked. He was more excited to punch down and make jokes out of stuff that he had no business mocking. But let's see the comedy content he's...
Well, no, I mean, I didn't... Wait, what? Wait, hold on a second. What is the implication?
We are saying iDubbbz influenced creators to go further, which created a culture of apathy, hatred, racism, and harassment. Chris Ray Gun said it himself. He didn't care to intellectually engage with the left-leaning content he disliked. He was more...
Yeah, because the left-leaning content that I disliked was stuff about manspreading and, like, really dumb shit. I feel like people forget at that time that, like, what we had at the time politically, right, was this kind of pop leftist, pop feminism stuff. It wasn't like actual feminist theory. It wasn't like actual academia. It was like concepts from academia that were like translated by like BuzzFeed and these like other like, you know, algorithm like clickbait driven, you know, amalgamations to talk about stuff that it's not that I didn't want to engage with stuff that I had no business talking about. It's that the people talking about stuff in the first place had no business talking about it. Dude, the amount of time that I see racism equals prejudice plus power, therefore black people can't be racist, is genuinely befuddling, because that's not what that means. Like, the concept of that in academia is so not that at all. And it's specifically BuzzFeed's fault, and like these different, companies. It's literally their fault that that's been such a misunderstood concept for fucking ever. Systemic, it's just so, it's like, black people can be racist. Minorities can be racist. There's a difference, though, between systemic racism and interpersonal racism. That is the theory. That is the kind of, like, academia being thrown around in actual, places where this stuff is studied. And that's a pretty intelligent understanding of the situation. It's like, yeah, obviously, people can be interpersonally racist towards one another. People can hold biases and hold bigotries, like, about different groups of people despite not being in power. But systemically, there are certain people who don't have a huge amount of systemic power to activate that bigotry in a way that meaningfully, like, subdues an entire population, or subdues, like, quadrants or percentages of that population. That is the real concept. But like, the idea that BuzzFeed was the place to go, or that MTV was the place to go to hear these things talked about, and by the way, translated incorrectly, is embarrassing. Like, that's just not, it's intellectually lazy. So of course I wasn't interested in having an intellectual conversation with you. You didn't even understand the intellectual concepts that you were talking about. This is so frustrating, because it's like, I really feel like BuzzFeed and MTV Decoded and, like, this kind of, like, popularization of, complicated academic terms with, like, absolutely no interest to actually research and look them up is what led to a lot of the bullshit that we saw. These were not scholars or communicators or educators doing this. It was fucking it was a fucking corporation that just wanted as many eyes on their shit as possible. So of course, we're gonna do a fucking man-spreading challenge on a fucking bus and pretend like this is like some deep social critique. Shut the fuck up. You'll never convince me, ever, unless you literally showed me a world that just did not occur, that any of this stuff was reasonable, deserving of intellectual critique, or worth engaging with on any level other than making fun of it. Like, I'm sorry. Like, the idea of that alone is fucking asinine. And it's not, I feel like it's just, you have to be willfully stupid or just uncharitable to just not understand that. Anyway.
Decided to punch down and make jokes out of stuff that he had no business mocking. But let's see the comedy content he's so proud of that he still has currently up on his YouTube channel.
Can we all just agree that Black Lives Matter isn't the opposite of All Lives Matter? Black lives just matter. There's no need to overcomplicate it.
Okay, you don't know what the word opposite means. It's okay. It's a really big word. It's a complicated word to understand. You see, I agree with you that all lives
such an asshole.
Matter isn't the opposite of Black Lives Matter, because that doesn't make any sense. The word all literally would include black lives. The opposite of Black Lives Matter would be Black Lives Don't Matter. It's pretty simple. But it's the Black Lives Matter people who feel like All Lives Matter is the opposite. Like, they're the ones treating it as if it is. As if it invalidates what they're saying, even though all, again, includes black lives. So yeah, no, it's BLM who thinks it's the opposite. No one else is under that impression.
Started off heavy, calling...
Okay, so first of all, I actually don't agree with that anymore. I think at the time in 2014... Yeah, that was 2014. That's a 2014 video, because that's my 2014 room. I recognize my 2014 desk. Right? I disagree with you there. Well, I would disagree with myself too. I think in 2014, the phrase all lives matter made perfect sense, right? And there's nothing really inherent. And again, this is inherently not a problem, right? But the way that phrase is used by people, now, it's very clear that, like, they're just, like, they really don't want to say that black lives are important. You know what I mean? But the idea that this is, like, a 2020 take is crazy. But anyway, yeah, I believe I thought that way back then too. Yeah, I think it's a reasonable thing to think, quite frankly. Like if you think if you respond to Black Lives Matter with All Lives Matter, if you're just not necessarily like caught up on like the online culture war stuff, like you would think like, what's the problem? You know what I mean? And especially because at that time, Black Lives Matter as a movement was very, very unfocused. And then you had a lot of people doing things in the name of the movement that really like sullied the name of it. Like I don't know if you guys remember that BLM kidnapping thing where there were these, I don't remember if it was teenagers or young 20s. They kidnapped this like disabled guy and beat him to death in like or not to death, but like they beat him the fuck up in like a stairwell. And they were like, I think they were shouting like Black Lives Matter at the time. Like whenever I would talk about BLM, I would always talk about like people individually representing the movement that would then like sully the name of it. You know what I mean? Because I don't think Black Lives Matter is incorrect. You know what I mean? I just think the way that people use that term and the way that certain people weaponized it was just very, very irresponsible. Which is a weird way to say, which is weird to say all life matters in contrast to Black Lives Matter. No, exactly. That's a perfectly valid argument. You know, that makes a lot of sense. But I think at the time I was thinking like, well, what's wrong with the phrase all lives matter? You know what I mean? Like that seems like reasonable. It's really not until you like meet the people who use that term that you actually start to see what's wrong with it. Because I do think as a phrase it's fine, but then when you hear it leave the mouth of somebody who like really cares about it, it's like, oh, this is tinged in something that I did not quite pick up on. But yeah, I think that's a perfectly valid critique. I don't think there's anything wrong with going after this video personally. Because I think that's actually, it is pretty outdated. It is pretty uninformed, but it's also mega old.
Black Lives Matter as the opposite of All Lives Matter, loudly, wrongly, and boldly pushing the straw man of All Lives Matter, whose roots is simply a racist counter-protest to Black Lives Matter by triggered white and anti-black people. He confidently pushed such ignorant, harmful rhetoric, supporting the All Lives Matter's lies, and demonized the whole black social justice movement. Because how dare black people bring awareness to our nuanced plight? But since Chris...
No, I mean, I specifically, there's other videos too where I talk about BLM and it's specific. I actually, you know what's funny? I actually remember this being like a point of contention with a lot of people because I refused to demonize the movement as a whole. Like people were angry that like I keep singling out like individuals associated with Black Lives Matter. Like, why don't you just say Black Lives Matter as an organization? Like, why don't you just blame the organization? It's like, because anybody can say they're a part of anything. It would be like, I remember specifically linking it to, do you remember that guy who like shot up, I can't remember what happened, but like he shot something up. He shot a place up. There's so many shootings now, like they all get mixed up in my head. But I think it was a church and some guy shouted like subscribe to PewDiePie. Like, is it fair to then like blame PewDiePie for that? You know what I mean? Like I remember feeling like no. And like I remember specifically even just with the Gamergate days, like is it fair to say that everybody who has something to say about Gamergate is somebody who's like also in the DMs of Anita Sarkeesian, like harassing them? It's like, no, anybody can anybody can say whatever they want. Anybody can purport to be a part of whatever they want. And so a lot of people gave me a lot of shit for, you know, whenever I would talk about BLM, I would talk about like individual incidents and the individuals involved. Like I would talk about like the BLM kidnapping and I was like, these guys sucked. And I would literally say things like, you know, but anybody can be a part of any movement, but, you know, that's wild. And people would like take umbrage with that. Like even like back then, there were like right-leaning people who were like angry with me who didn't like, because I refused to just demonize an entire fucking organization for the actions of people who just, you know, there's crazy people everywhere. Like, why would I, like, why is that so unbelievable? Because the alternate perspective is, oh, well, BLM wanted them to kidnap that white guy and beat him up. You know what I mean? Like, that's insane. Like, of course they didn't want that. But anyway, that's kind of how I feel about that. I think it's totally fine to make fun of these videos, by the way.
Ray Gun is too ignorant to understand Black Lives Matter.
And by the way, I leave them up specifically because I don't really mind that being there. I don't really mind there being like a history of like perspective changes or like people growing or changing. Like I don't really mind that. Like I'll be wrong in some videos. from like 2017 that get like no views today because they're deeply out of the algorithm. But I also don't necessarily want to hide from them if it's not emblematic of at least the style of the channel. You know what I mean? Like, the reason those logo videos are hidden is because stylistically they're not the channel anymore. But like this video, like this is kind of how I would organize a video today. You know what I mean? Like that's how I would shoot it. That's how I would organize it. So I was like, yeah, I'm wrong in this video, but like, I'll leave it up. I don't really mind that personally.
The word all literally would include Black lives. The opposite of
All Lives Matter. Loudly, wrongly, and boldly pushing the straw man of All Lives Matter, whose roots is simply a racist counter-protest to Black Lives Matter by triggered white and anti-black people. He confidently pushed such
The only one that I know is unlisted is Punch a Nazi. Yeah, there's so many conspiracy theories about that one too. So I'm just going to say this now because I think it's safe to say now. I've given a couple of different reasons as to why Punch a Nazi is not available on the channel anymore. And the real reason is this. Okay? You guys are getting the scoop. All right? Punch a Nazi was unlisted because Psychic Pebbles, Zach, did the thumbnail for that video. And he was like in the credits, like in the video at the end. And around the time Smiling Friends was starting to pick up, I remember being like, oh, I don't want my friend to be linked to this thing that might be interpreted incorrectly. Like, I didn't want to be the reason why Zach didn't get a show. You know what I mean? Like, that's the real reason. I was hesitant to talk about this because now I think Smiling Friends is so cemented in they're not canceling Smiling. Like, Smiling Friends is so good and like Adult Swim really values it. So I think it's safer to say now than it used to be when it was just kind of like a concept. But, you know, I could not be responsible for that. Like, no shot was I letting that happen. So that's the reason why it's unlisted. There's a couple of other like shorter reasons where it's like, you know, I am annoyed that video got like misinterpreted because the point isn't that punching Nazis is bad. The point is that calling everybody Nazis opens people up to punching people who are not deserving of being punched. And then people who do deserve to be punched get to like skirt off scot-free or like hide in like a crowd. Like, that's the whole point of that video. But it actually like got like misinterpreted to be like, oh, well, you shouldn't actually punch Nazis. Like, no, nobody in their right mind is against like beating a Nazi to death. It's just a matter of like how we use that term, which is just like genuinely irresponsible. But so that's like a softer reason. Like, that's one of the things that bothered me about it. But like, I would have left it up were it not for the fact that like I was genuinely worried about the misinterpretation of that video getting so big and it like reaching Adult Swim and then like people being like using it as an excuse to like Zach has said wilder things than no, I understand, but like let that be that then. You know what I mean? Like, I just didn't want to be the one responsible. Like, ultimately is what it is. Also, personally, I just think it's like not mixed very well. Like, I think I don't know. I can't sing Lady Gaga songs. You know? So there's a couple reasons, but that was like the main thing as to why that video kind of went away. And I saw a lot of people like, there were a lot of conspiracy theories about like he's capitulating or like, he regrets the message or like, or just like other things where it's like he's trying to hide from his alt-right past. It's like, no, I just didn't want to fuck up my friend's amazing opportunity. However unlikely, even if it was like a 1 in a million shot, like I imagine getting a text from Zach being like, your thumbnail made them quit the show. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that would be so, I don't know if I could ever be happy again. Like, that would be so devastating. Especially because I just love the show. But yeah, moving on. You guys got a little bit of a scoop today. Because this is actually the first time I've ever told that story. Because I think now it's like, you know, now it's fine. They're not canceling Smiling Friends. Smiling Friends is so fucking big. It's crazy. I think the possibility of that video canceling Smiling Friends is very slim, but your luck is so trash. That's kind of how I feel about most things. It's like, I don't think this will happen, but like, if it does, could I live with myself being the reason? And the answer was no. So I was like, no, I'm just Just whatever. It's not that good of a musical anyway. Like, it's fine. It's not as good as the Cage the Elephant one. I'll keep the Cage the Elephant one, whatever.
Ignorant, harmful rhetoric, supporting the All Lives Matter's lies, and demonize the whole black social justice movement, because how dare black people bring awareness to our nuanced plight? But since Chris Ray Gun is too ignorant to understand Black Lives Matter, let me break it down.
Why didn't you just change the thumbnail then? Wasn't that the main issue? Well, he's also in the like, there's credits in the video where he's like directly listed. He's in the description as well. I don't know. And I also felt like changing the thumbnail might give it away in some way. That like, why did he get? Is there like a falling out with Zach? You know what I mean? Like, I just didn't want to. I didn't want to feed any weird narratives. I've been on the internet a long time, long enough to see like wild narratives spring out of genuinely nothing actions. Like, I've seen people just change like the title of something because they just liked the way the new title looked on a video better on like the YouTube subscriber feed. And that was like a whole blow up. Like, why did he do this? Is there secretly an issue with it? Like, it's wild, the shit that people on the internet jump to. So it's like, I just thought, I figured if I got rid of the video, all of the criticism would just kind of be levied at me, and people wouldn't go like, you know, looking around and like looking adjacent. So whatever. That's fine.
In elementary simple terms, let's say Black Lives Matter represents a person with a burning house. The people with the burning house are advocating for aid and support, but here comes All Lives Matter, whose house is not on fire. They're completely fine, but just the idea of people with burning houses are advocating for themselves irks them to their racist core. That's simple, but common sense wasn't too common in the 2015 to 2017.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. That was unfortunately not the argument that I was met with. But I agree with that, actually. I do think the idea of like you being in like a burning house and you'd be like, somebody help me. It's like, well, all houses matter. It's like, no, that's insane. Like, all houses do matter. Like, what you're saying isn't wrong, but it's not important at this very moment. Like, I think that is a totally valid argument. And one that I agree with, and one that I think I've agreed with for quite a while at this point. Definitely for way longer than I thought the opposite, you know? But yeah.
Era of YouTube.
Also, Blue Lives Matter isn't a thing. Cops weren't born with blue skin, right? I mean, yeah, they weren't born blue.
Good. Brilliant. You gotta be kidding me with this. You can't say something you're addressing isn't a thing just because you have a negative opinion of it. Also, they weren't born blue? What the hell does that mean? Like, what does that literally mean? So because they weren't born cops, it's silly to say that their lives matter? You can't be serious. Hey, handicapped lives matter, crippled lives matter, but only if you were born crippled. If you jumped on the crippled bandwagon in your mid-20s, like, oh, look at me, I got polio, your life doesn't matter. Christopher Reeve? That guy joined way late. I was crippled before it was even cool. Stephen Hawking, more like even walking is hard for you now, but it wasn't always because you weren't born this way. The point of saying Blue Lives Matter...
I kind of like that joke still, to be honest with you. I like that joke still. What is it? I don't even remember what I was saying. What was the point that I was making? I don't even think I made a point. I think I just wanted an excuse to...
Yeah, they weren't born blue.
Good. Brilliant. You gotta be kidding me with this. You can't say...
Yeah, it's L-take with a W joke. Yeah, that's kind of how I feel about it now, too, yeah. Yeah, I mean, honestly... I don't know. I think holistically, I still kind of feel like just being a cop isn't a bad thing. Like, holistically speaking. Like, I think there must be good cops somewhere. So in some way, assuming that a cop is, like, doesn't matter, like, must be incorrect. But I think today... I feel differently about what I know about like not necessarily the political system, but like specifically the law and like the police system that we have, right? Where it's like there is kind of an incentive. There's not really much incentive for good cops to remain police officers, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. And so from that standpoint, I think it's fair. Like, the critique against cops, I think, is fair. I think I was a little bit more opposed to it back then because I was just like, well, I think a good cop, there could be, like, you're saying all cops are bad, really? Like, there must be a good cop somewhere. But I think now it's more of like, I see it from more as like a criticism of, I guess, the incentive structure of what the police system is, and that, like, oh, even just the quota system is just like, we gotta find people to lock up and shit. And the fact that it, like, leads to, like, for-profit prisons and, I don't know. There's a lot of reasons why I think it's fair to be pretty unfair towards police officers, especially now as I've grown older and I've had a lot more run-ins with police officers that were just very clearly trying to antagonize me for no fucking reason. But I think still, like, holistically, in the back of my brain, I don't necessarily think you're, like, evil inherently just for being a cop. But I am way more suspicious of you, if that makes sense. I didn't have that nuanced of a take back then. I think I just wanted a good reason to highlight the idea of somebody not caring about a crippled person because they joined the party late. I thought that was just a funny concept.
Something you're addressing isn't a thing just because you have a negative opinion of it. Also,
I won't subject you to the joke again. But I like it.
It's stupid. And that logic also extends to black people and white people and every people under the sun, whether or not they're born a certain way, whether or not they're in a certain profession. You can't just convict someone of something because someone else who is similar to them did it. Ooh, is it right or is it wrong to suggest that white people are inherently evil due to the sins of their ancestors? I do say, if you're actually seriously having that conversation, you need to just cease. I also want to take this opportunity to say that I'm not inherently against the idea of Black Lives Matter. It's a totally fine phrase to say. It's a totally reasonable phrase to say. It's not false in any way.
I'm actually surprised that this is in the video because isn't this, like, from, like... This is from my, like, really racist, like, not charitable era, right? So, like, why am I, like... Huh.
My problem lies with the movement and what they've done because I feel like what they've done is counterintuitive. All that blah. You get the picture.
Yeah, it's even, like, literally just a... Even in that video, it's, like, it's still, like, a critique of, like, how the movement operates and some of the people associated with it and how they act, you know what I mean? That's actually, like, it's so funny because, like, this video is so tame compared to, like, a modern day, like, Melanie Mac video or, like, a quartering video or, like, any of the shit that you see now. But this was, like, considered, like, high tier racist. I don't even see what's necessarily wrong with what I was saying. Like, I disagree with the concept that that police don't deserve a little bit more criticism than other professions. Like, I think that's fair. I think it's also fair to point out the stupidity of the All Lives Matter slogan and how it's used. But I actually don't feel like the rest of this take is really all that crazy.
He didn't think he could go any lower. He does just that by attempting to validate the Blue Lives Matter straw man. It's already pissing me off, but let me also break this silly argument into simple terms since I highly doubt he changed his views on this due to the video still being up.
The video is still up because I don't mind having old takes up. So.
Cops can take off their uniform. It's a choice to be a power-hungry cop that overlooks racism and injustice. No one in Black Lives Matter advocated for cops to... Black Lives Matter, just like All Lives Matter, only sprouted up to counter-protest Black Lives Matter. The deep-rooted racism within both the All Lives Matter and Blue Lives Matter hashtag, because they weren't movements, is maddening. Anything but critically engaging with what Black people have to say about our own plight. The fact that it's taken George Floyd for people with Chris Ray Gunn's ignorant perspective to shift their views is another frustrating reality. It's also so cringy to hear—
Wait, what? Is the insinuation that, like, my opinion changed because of George Floyd? That's wild. That is crazy. That's definitely not true. What?
The way he talks about disabled people. But what can you expect from such a big brain YouTube comedian? Now remember when
I thought the joke was pretty, I don't know. I thought the joke was funny.
Said he was one of Francesca's biggest—
I think the worst thing about that joke really is just the audio quality, honestly.
Harassers. Well, this video just gives you a glimpse into the racist talking points he had when talking about her and those adjacent. This video pissed me off, and you'll see why.
Okay, wait, racist talking points about who?
Now this is the—
Oh, Francesca. Okay, so we're getting into some interesting places.
About her and those adjacent. This video pissed me off, and you'll see why.
Now, this is the part of the podcast that I feel is the most telling. Fran, you have a microphone not because of your skills, talent, or unique perspective. Because let's be real, I'm going to be blunt here for a minute. Because, Fran, your unique perspective is shared by literally every single person on your panel. Your skill, your special skill, Fran, is that you can be relied upon and depended on to toe the line that Google wants. Because honestly, out of genuine curiosity, Fran, what is...
I meant to say YouTube, by the way. I didn't mean to say Google.
Your talent? Can you sing? Can you edit? Can you act? Because all I see on your personal channel is vlogs and BuzzFeed clickbait. And granted, it's BuzzFeed clickbait before BuzzFeed clickbait, but pioneering BuzzFeed clickbait isn't exactly a talent. I don't understand where this self-aggrandizing view of yourself is coming from. As if that somehow makes you a better person than anybody in the audience just because you were invited to a panel solely because your opinion is the most palatable. Like... What? Get a grip.
I am someone that has been invited to be here.
Yeah, Fran, sure. I'm very positive that the bar to get on this panel is so very high. It must require a very large audience and a very immense amount of relevance just to make the list. I'm sure of it. I'm sure it has nothing to do with any other factor involving where you lean politically. I'm sure that has nothing to do with it.
Yes, this clown was undermining the Cat Black. It's almost like he wanted...
The Cat Black? What the fuck are you talking about? Look, I'll be real. I'll be real. A lot of these grudges that I've held in the past, completely forgot about them. You know? I don't really care about these things anymore. I've moved on so long ago, it's crazy. But Cat Black specifically pissed me the fuck off because when Lacey and I started dating... By the way, really frustrating that was even a conversation for a lot of people. But she had a live stream, right? I think she did like 3 7-hour live streams in 3 days in a row talking about how, just literally raging about the fact that, she was dating me. There's actually a video, and I suggest look, I don't normally direct people to videos where I'm angry, but there's a video on the Snark Tank channel called, I think it's Blocked. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. Snark Tank. Damn, it's so far back. Oh, is that it? Damn. Yeah, it's called Blocked.move, but it's so old. Hold on, let me go back. You can watch it if you want, but this kind of highlights my, one of the reasons why I'm angriest. Or why Cat Black specifically bothered the shit out of me. She did so many live streams about me misinterpreting shit that I was saying, just ranting about the fact that, she literally said verbatim that, I would have been happier if she dated Sargon. Can you fucking imagine being, a left-leaning content creator and saying that? Also, just the idea of, even having an opinion about this in the first place is just crazy. Keep my relationship out of your fucking mouth is how I felt about it. Because I wanted to protect my girlfriend at the time. Because obviously. And this just disrespect. And it's just yeah, no, I don't care. I don't know what Cat Black's talent is. And quite frankly, I could give a fuck. She still sucks. Because she's literally the only person who acted that crazy about it. She leaked private conversations where she had with Vosh when they were dating because she wanted as a way to mock him. Yeah, I'm sorry. Cat Black sucks. I don't care what she does for whatever community she's a part of. She's a vile. She sucks a great deal. But I think this is it.
Hey everybody, Chris Ray.
Yeah, here it is. I don't normally direct people to stuff like this. It's an 11-minute video of me being angry. But the shit she was saying is just so fucking out of pocket. And she really jumped through so many fucking hoops to just make things that I was saying sound worse than they were. Like, I made a joke about wanting to hang myself, and she, like, assumed that it was a joke about lynching black people. It's crazy. Like, it is next level wild. And it's especially embarrassing if you just know my history and just know the people that I surround myself with. Like, yeah, I'm sorry, guys. The idea that I have, like, a disdain for black people or, like, that I'm racist anyway is hilarious. It's funny, dude. Like, it is comedy. But anyway, yeah, I've let a lot of things go over the years, but, like, yeah, fuck Cat Black. Cat Black sucks.
To say
I wish her all the best now, like, whatever. I'm sure she's doing great stuff. But if I never hear from her again, it'll be too soon.
Is the most palatable. Like, get a grip.
I am someone that has been invited to be here.
Yeah, Fran, sure. I'm very positive that the bar to get on this panel is so very high. It must require a very large audience and a very immense amount of relevance just to make the list. I'm sure of it. I'm sure it has nothing to do with any other factor involving where you lean politically. I'm sure that has nothing to do with it.
Yes, this clown was undermining the Cat Black. It's almost like he wanted to say they only got the opportunity due to DEI initiatives. But the phrase DEI didn't exist at the time, or he...
That's so crazy. If it was a real DEI initiative, there would have been other people on that panel who didn't agree. I'm arguing for DEI. I want it. I want the DEI. Oh my God. That is crazy. Everybody on that stage has the same opinion. How? This is such an uncharitable interpretation. This is fucking amazing. My complaint is literally that she's up there because she agrees with everybody. And there's no difference between them. God damn. Look, I don't know anything about this creator. I don't know. I'm not even sure. Maybe I've interacted. I don't even remember. The name sounds familiar, but I don't know if I've interacted with them or not. I want the yeah, get somebody else in there. Get somebody else in there who, like, I don't know, has something else to say. Oh wait, this is the wrong one. This one. I want the DEI. I don't know, it's so exhausting getting interpreted in the worst possible way for no reason.
He'd be screaming at the top of his lungs. I'm just amazed at how anti-black he can be, writing Francesca off as untalented as if skill, writing, editing, etc. doesn't go into her videos, let alone her MTV show. They had to be so disingenuous to just...
Yeah, that was a little mean. I'm sure Cat is. I'm sure not Cat. I'm sure Francesca Ramsey is talented. I was being really mean, undoubtedly. Like, that's a mean video for sure. But I don't think I disagreed with, like, the core criticisms that I made of her. I think they stand the test of time. And yeah, I don't know. I could have been a little bit nicer about it, but I think I was just more of a dick back then, to be honest with you.
Justify their attacks on her skills and work, all because she made them think deeper on topics they were introduced to. Francesca did.
She never made anybody think deeper about anything. Like, I'm sorry. Oh my God. I hate that I hate that this is even still a thing that we're talking about. MTV Decoded is not like a fucking David Attenborough. It's not like this grand... It's not grand content, dude. Like, it's not, like, thoughtful. It was pop feminism. It was just kind of like stuff that you could... It was literally bite-sized videos that you could share to your Facebook feed so that you could tell people what you politically thought without overtly saying it. It's stuff that you would share on Facebook that would be like, this is interesting. So that way you could signal to other people that, like, oh, you also believe... You know what I mean? It was slop. It's literally BuzzFeed. And that's fine. Just, dude, admit it. Like, I'm perfectly fine admitting that I made, like, just, like, dumb, like, not intellectually stimulating, like, comedy videos where I just, like, ranted in front of a camera and, like, played with a stuffed llama. Like, I'm perfectly fine with that. Why do you need to be more respected than you earned. Like, what does this need to be seen as like this fucking champion of the space? This like icon of wisdom? Like, I don't get it. And it's that self-aggrandizing view that I was talking about. It's just like, it's fine. Come down into the muck with the rest of us, dude. It's okay.
Did more than pioneer what he calls BuzzFeed content. Francisca Ramsey laid out the foundation of BreadTube, or more known as leftist content. The needed discourse she pushed got her harassed when it's now common leftist knowledge. Put some respect on her name. That's more than enough of his older content to witness to understand how harmful and racist his content was. It was enough psychic damage done to myself editing this all. The next question one would ask is his view
Lacey Green did it first.
On his older content, and is he apologetic? Is he taking accountability for indoctrinating and making his younger viewers more bigoted and racist? We can find that out right now in this video. He made post-Vosh stream that made him reflect on his past content. It's rich with growth, as you'll see.
And I had a lot of left-wingers kind of flipping out at me saying like, oh, they didn't believe me. They didn't really believe I changed my mind. They think I'm just sort of jumping into the left-wing bandwagon because that's the grift now and that's what's popular and relevant. Now, normally I would just sort of let this stuff go, but we're all in quarantine and I'm bored out of my mind. So I figured I'd read some of the really brilliant criticisms that have been levied my way. To be honest, if you're a creator who apologizes for foolishly spending years pumping out videos filled with disingenuous far-right talking points, ultimately serving as a tool for the alt-right pipeline, and you just leave those videos up, I'm just going to assume you don't mean it. Well, that's a pretty good assumption to make, because I never said I'm sorry. I never once apologized in that entire stream. You see, acknowledging that you've made mistakes in the past and working to change those actions so that you make fewer mistakes, that's not an apology. I know you want an apology, like really desperately. I know you get off the thought of people groveling at your feet, but no, I didn't apologize. Instead, I just decided to better myself and not rely on fucking useless apologies and just flowery words. I can remember literally every single apology that I've genuinely given since 2010 because I give them out so rarely, because I like to be the kind of person that when you get an apology from me, you know I mean it. And I know this is like an old topic, but I never actually got around to throwing my hat in the ring. I'm not gonna take my hat off because my hair looks fucking terrible. But I really, really hate, like genuinely loathe this pipeline conversation because it's full of so many arbitrary stops and random conveniences. It just infuriates me. Your mild political satire was misappropriated by the alt-right and used to draw more people into the alt-right. I know because I know several people who have told me that this happened to them. Well, that's wonderful. That's great. I've also received hundreds of messages from people saying that people like me, Shoe-on-Head, and Armored Skeptic were the people that kept them from falling deeper in to the rabbit hole. So what do you want me to do? You want me to apologize for content that potentially helped plenty of people as well? And even beyond that, the whole pipeline thing is just a game of like who's responsible hot potato. It's annoying.
I hate the way the censors are edited, man. God damn it. Do an L cut, please. Or just like, I don't know, something.
This blew my socks off hearing him be so unapologetic and literally taking the opposite approach than iDubbbz.
Well, then what do you want? Like, I don't know. So yeah, you can't win.
Thinking just bettering himself is sufficient while leaving up his bigoted content, including the videos harassing Francisca Ramsey. His views of apologies is so toxic. The machismo to the max. I don't throw around the word narcissistic lightly, ever, especially as someone who dated a genuine narcissist, but this gives parallels to what I identified with my past abusive relationship. I'm shocked he had the nerve to confidently record this, but it doesn't stop here. The audacity to boldly dismiss the alt-right pipeline because it's annoying to him, since he was literally the gateway content creator. The fact that it's
there's no addressing the fact that like I was also the gateway out. So wouldn't my impact be like a net neutral, if any? Like what? It's convenient that you would ignore that. Like what would you say to the people who were pulled out of it? I get messages still to this day. Granted, the last one I got was like maybe like a week ago, but that's like pretty fucking common considering like I don't post anymore. You know? I mean, I do podcasts, I guess. But, like, dude, the Snark Tank alone, like, dude, every time we get political on the Snark Tank, people, like, hate it because we are so biased. We're so left-wing, it's crazy on that show. And people get upset because we're so left-wing. So, like, I don't know, man. It just seems like... Yeah, you were personally my gateway out of it. I found you through Sargon, and now I can't stand the bastard. Thank you. I appreciate it. You're not the first, and you're not going to be the last. These are things that I get a lot. So, like, I don't know what... So, if I were to apologize for the stuff that I did, do I feel good about the fact that, like, maybe some people use my videos to, like, spread harmful messages? No, of course not. Right? But... I do feel proud that those same videos also managed to pull people out. So, like, I'm just kind of left with at a net neutral point where it's just like, well, I'm not going to apologize for this because I don't really regret it if that's the case. You know? I don't really regret if people are getting pulled out of, you know, the Quarterings audience or, you know, Tim Pool's audience or any of these things because of the stuff that I said, or just the fact that I was able to, like, convey an opinion that was, like, still left-wing but also, like, not lost in the sauce. Like, I don't know. Like, it's hard for me to really regret that, even if there was like harm brought about by it, you know? I don't know. Chris, you just seem to reside in the sane space that recognizes the insanity from all angles. Yeah, yeah. It's a very unrewarding space, because it really does feel like you can't. Centrists aren't like centrist people, or like apolitical people aren't like, how should I say this? They aren't lucrative audiences, you know, because they don't feel strongly about anything. Like, a centrist doesn't feel strongly enough about their political perspective being represented that they're willing to, like, donate their money to, like, a content creator. Like, you really have to shell big, like, you really have to pander to make a lot of money now. And I just refuse to do that. And as a result, I get people angry at me. I get people calling me like a woke libtard cuck turncoat, and I get people saying that I'm the biggest alt-right contributor to the world that got Trump elected, and it's like, I'm just trying to live my life, dude. Dude, even some of the stuff that was in this video, the wrong takes that were highlighted in this video, they were wrong, but they weren't crazy. I'm not sitting here talking about how, like, the leftists are making hurricanes with a weather machine to target Cybertruck owners and it's all the Jews' fault. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, like, all lives matter as a phrase makes sense. Which I understand why the conversation that I was having about that is wrong. I get it, because there's, like, more complexity to, like, how people use that phrase. But, like, the vitriol that I get, I don't see it towards, like, actual crazy people. And I can't help but feel like it's just because I'm kind of hot.
Common knowledge, yet Chris Ray Gun and Chew and Head are the only ones to die in it. Not a lick of accountability, and clearly no growth. The idea that his bold, racist content was used against black and queer people is annoying to him, while us marginalized people had to live with the consequences of his content. He was literally rooting for Trump to win, but wants to pretend like he didn't aid in the alt-right pipeline. We're definitely dealing with a genius here. When the bar was already low for iDubbbz, here comes Chris Ray Gun bringing it to hell. Yeah, it doesn't even end here.
Ooh, that's hard. that goes hard, kind of. Chris Ray Gun bringing it to hell.
But wants to pretend like he didn't aid in the alt-right pipeline. We're definitely dealing with a genius here. When the bar was already low for iDubbbz, here comes Chris Ray Gun bringing it to hell. Yeah, it doesn't even end here. iDubbbz apologizing pushed a needed discourse, one that Chew and Head and Chris Ray Gun ignorantly participated in. But before that, we must watch this TikTok.
Anti-social justice warrior era is what made the alt-right pipeline mainstream, and I will not elaborate.
I'm Francesca. I created a show for MTV called Decoded in 2015. It was all about race, pop culture, and identity. 8 seasons, over 90 episodes, and that entire time I was harassed by anti-social justice warriors on YouTube. So they would make these videos debunking my content, calling me names, sometimes using racial slurs, saying that I should unalive myself, that I should be SA'd, that I hate white people, that I hate men. They would talk about my now ex-husband, but it was...
By the way, none of that applies to me. I don't know if you know that, but, like, everything that she's saying right now, I never said. So this is, like, I presume, like, this is probably, like, maybe, like, some of the smaller channels, you know? But, like, I never said any of this stuff.
And I will not elaborate.
I'm Francesca. I created a show for MTV called Decoded in 2015. It was all about race, pop culture, and identity. 8 seasons, over 90 episodes, and that entire time I was harassed by anti-social justice warriors on YouTube. So they would make these videos debunking my content, calling me names, sometimes using racial slurs.
All right, I did call her names, but I never used a racial slur against her.
Saying that I should unalive myself.
I never told her that she should kill herself. I never said that.
That I hate white people.
I never said that. I don't even believe that.
But I hate men. They would talk about...
Don't believe that either.
My now ex-husband, but it was all under the guise of comedy. And the thinking was that they were purporting that marginalized people are lying about our experiences, we're lying about our history, we are making a big deal out of things that don't matter, and we're creating words out of thin air, which, hello, that's where words come from. Someone has to make them up. And
but redefining academic concepts and diluting them into a public space is irresponsible. You know? You might even making stuff up. That's fine. Like, I get it. That is how language happens. But you can't take something like a concept like systemic racism and then have that go through a pipeline where people are then misinformed, where it's like, oh, black people can't be racist. It's like, that's not what that means.
Because these videos would target people that were extremely online and in need of community, they were able to dupe people into consuming hours worth of content that had no research or fact-based evidence at all. They were pure opinion. And as we've seen with the pandemic, a lot of people don't understand the difference between opinions and facts. And when someone makes a 40-minute video debunking a 5-minute episode of MTV Decoded filled with lies and misinformation and straw man arguments, it's impossible to debunk it yourself.
I never made 40-minute videos, I don't think. I think I would like cap out at around like 20. Maybe MTV maybe like the MTV video is longer. Like 15 was like my sweet spot for a while. Let me just fact check this real quick. MTV eroded. Yeah, that was 20 minutes exactly. That was like the longest video that I ever did. And that wasn't about a Decoded. That was about her and the whole VidCon situation and how she acted. She's actually like technically like only like half of the story there, but yeah.
Without getting sucked into a hole of like wasting your time and energy. I will never forget a guy made a whole music video that was animated starring a character that looked suspiciously like me. I used to have locks, and so this was a black girl with locks, and it was all about how triggered she was and how upset she was, and essentially like creating this narrative that people who advocate for social justice are actually the ones oppressing white people, oppressing men, oppressing straight people. I mean, this guy spent money to have a video produced. He went into the studio. I mean, it was well done. Like,
thank you.
These people were making a living off of talking about me and spreading lies and essentially creating fascism-like content.
By the way, that's not true, but like, I appreciate it.
So these people were essentially primed to consume alt-right content because they were being essentially fed it through comedy videos from their favorite creators.
Well said from the source herself. She's right about it being a waste of time going back and forth with their content that had no research or genuine attempt of entertaining. It reminds me of a Toni Morrison quote. The function, the very serious function of racism is distraction. It keeps you from doing your work. It keeps you explaining over and over again your reason for being. Somebody says you have no language, and you spend 20 years proving you do. Somebody says your head isn't shaped properly, so you have scientists working on the fact that it is. Somebody says you have no art, so you dredge that up. Someone says you have no kingdoms, so you dredge that up. None of this is necessary. There will always be one more thing. I wanted to laser in on the summer of last year. Thankfully, I've saved many screenshots to put everything together chronologically.
Ooh, exciting. Some research, some screenshots. I'm excited to see the receipts of me being like, you know, a cold-hearted racist.
It took a lot of psychodamage to relive this moment, since I was targeted when I spoke up. Like I said earlier, IDOS apologizing opened up a discourse and old wounds. It made many of us...
People should be fired from their jobs for 10-year-old tweets. Leftists, by the way. Oh my god, I can't believe I was dumb enough to look up to you as a literal child. Hi, you helped indoctrinate me and probably thousands of others. I gotta take this gum out. I made a mistake chewing gum. I felt like I needed gum for some reason. But it's getting in my way right now. Hold up 1 second. All right. You sent me down the anti-SJW pipeline as a minor. No, it doesn't especially... I don't know. This has not, whatever. This has nothing to do with me. I'm waiting for me to come up.
Came to mind that participated in the BS.
Y'all, I'm actually so hyped. This is hilarious. This woman indoctrinated me as a minor into being an anti-SJW. I watched her content as a child and became further bigoted than I already was for my own environment. She probably had this effect, I guess, on... I assume the rest of that is on thousands or millions of people. How's it that me and my friends watched the edgiest shit possible growing up and entered adulthood without a seething disdain for black people or hatred of gays? Couldn't it be that personal responsibility plays a huge part in the things that we think and believe? Now, to be clear, it's not saying that there is no effect, but it is saying that, like, dude, like, on some level, you gotta take personal responsibility as well, no? Like, come on.
Yes. An ex-Shoe-on-Head fan spoke up, which went viral.
Like, I mean, dude, even just like the idea. Do you think that I could really be like, sorry guys, I just grew up racist, but I'm not racist anymore, and they would take that seriously? Like, do you think they would forgive that? No shot. No fucking shot. So the idea is just like, oh, I was already racist from my environment. But they made me more racist. It's like, come on, dude.
Since Shu and Chris Ray Gun quote tweeted, dismissing them and invalidating the fact that
Look, I'm not saying that like content doesn't affect people. Obviously, like I've seen like people indoctrinated into all sorts of kind of content, and it is like really annoying, the shit that people have done and the you know, the content that people consume that straight up make them zombies. Like, I think that's real. But also, like, I don't know how to help you if you're susceptible to that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what to say, because I just wasn't. Like, I was always kind of, like, willing to be, like, wrong. I joke online a lot about how I'm never wrong. That's a joke, I hope everybody knows. But, like, I'm always fine to be proven incorrect. And I'm really, and maybe it's because I grew up in a household that was, like, very, very diverse, both from thought processes and just, you know, from a skin color perspective. Like, I've just seen every argument for every single possible perspective. So, like, I see where people are coming from. And so I'm never really married to a perspective unless I have like a severe, like, unless I have like a serious amount of like provable evidence that that's the case. It's kind of like how I feel about Trump, right? Where it's like, I think in 2016, didn't necessarily care. In 2020, I cared a little bit more. But like now it's like, there's so much evidence, like irrefutable evidence about like the stuff that Trump's done, where it's like, yeah, it's hard for me to treat people who are like really like excited about Trump in 2024 as if they're like sentient people. Like it's difficult for me to do that. But I also feel like, I don't know, I see that content. I see the same content that they're indoctrinated by, and I'm not indoctrinated by it. So on some level, whether or not it's a nature or a nurture type thing, if you're racist, it doesn't have nothing to do with you. That's how I feel. Anyway.
Content indoctrinated young viewers and created self-hate in some viewers. The mental gymnastics were extreme that I couldn't help myself but to chime in, since
it's a you problem. Well, the thing is, it's like, it's not even, I'm not even saying that like the content isn't part of it. I'm sure it is. I'm sure people like watched my video calling manspreading crazy because it is. And then it got like linked through YouTube's algorithm to like a Stefan Molyneux video, and maybe like they're like susceptible, and then they got fed into it. I don't deny that that's like possible and probably happened. But like my response to that is just like, I don't know how to help you, dude. Like, I feel like the only people who get sucked into those things are people who are just always going to get sucked into the next thing. There's a reason why cults and religions like have lasted the test of time, and it's because certain people, and this is going to sound a little, this is going to sound a little elitist, but I can't help but notice it, right? Where there's a lot of people who just aren't mentally equipped to handle that experience. My perspective has gone, I think, further and further left as I've learned more throughout my time on YouTube, but I've always been pretty firmly left-leaning. And even some of the stuff that I was saying in some of these old videos where I say, you know, all lives matter is a phrase that makes sense, or like some of the ways that the people who are associated with Black Lives Matter run are, I think, irresponsible. There's nothing right-wing about that sentiment. You know, there's nothing really either, like there's no lean. You know what I mean? Especially if it's coming from an earnest place. I can get it if I was like going to like people's houses, or like going, like making videos where I was angrily screaming all lives matter. You know what I mean? Like I get it in that sense, but like that just wasn't the reality. And it's weird that people can like pretend that that is the reality, even when they edit a video together, when that's just not what is in your video. It's weird. This just sounds like a lie you're telling yourself to wash away. Oh, wait, what did I say? It's weird how many people outwardly say, yeah, I was a raging anti-Semite, but in my defense, I watched some YouTubers once and expect that to be like a sufficient reason. This just sounds like a lie you're telling yourself to wash away any responsibility for adding in the anti-SJW alt-right pipeline. Instead of admitting your wrongs like iDubbbz, you double down. Well, a lot of good that did iDubbbz, according to you. Instead of admitting your wrongs like iDubbbz, you double down from reflecting on the negative culture you aided in with your content and harassment. I don't think it's harassment. I don't think critique is harassment. In fact, anything that I ever did that was mean was always in response to something that was unreasonably cruel or like unreasonably unfair. So I've never been the instigator of anything that was like mean or particularly like rude. That Francesca video and that Cat Black video, that was responses to shit that people were already saying about me, all right? I was just chilling making jokes about Christopher Reeve, all right? And again, it's not about avoiding responsibility. Again, I'm sure that happened. But I also just know for a fact that people were pulled out of it. So yeah, I'm not really going to apologize. If I know that my videos did some bad and some good, well, guess what? That's what being alive is. Sometimes you hurt people without meaning to, and you have to just deal with that. And sometimes you help people, and that's great. But like, what does it do to just like, what am I going to suffer just because like some idiot clicked on my video, laughed at Ghostbusters being a cringe movie, and then went into like some rabbit hole where they're like a right-wing Nazi now? By the way, if they were a right-wing Nazi in like 2016, chances are today they're probably like, what is it? They're probably like a communist today. Because those are not stable people. People do not shift like that. You know? That's not an experience that people have. These are people who are susceptible, and they will continue to be susceptible. They're Nazis today. They're communists tomorrow. They're fucking cultists the next day. You know? The people who get indoctrinated into this stuff, I firmly think are just kind of... They're the percentage of the population that had no shot in the first place. And the way that I think about my presence in that content, in that sphere, is that I was probably like one of the only positive forces in that entire community, with like maybe like not even a handful, but maybe like two others, where everybody else was trying to grift and trying to like push a really fucking annoying right-wing narrative. I was just trying to laugh, and I pulled some people out of it, and I'm proud of that. I don't stand by everything I ever said, but I'm not going to like sit here and like flog myself and be fucking miserable and like go on some apology tour for my own ego. Like, I could give a fuck. Get better parents. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
I was an ex-viewer, as well, who had to undo the damage done to me mentally.
Whoa, hey, hold on. That's a quick cut. What's going on? You can't be doing this.
Creators came to mind that participated in the BS. An ex-Shoe-on-Head fan spoke up, which went viral since Shoe and Chris Ray Gun quote tweeted, dismissing them and invalidating the fact that their content indoctrinated young...
Okay, what is this? I'm sorry that I made you racist. I didn't realize the butterfly effect I would have when I called manspreading silly, or when I called Ghostbusters 2016 kind of cringe. I'm truly sorry, and I hope you can find it in your cold, racist heart to forgive me.
Viewers, and created self-hate in some viewers.
I don't disagree. I don't know. It's hard for me to disagree with what I'm saying.
Mental gymnastics were extreme that I couldn't help my...
This sounds like... Oh, okay, we read this already.
Since I was an ex-viewer, as well, who had to undo the damage...
Not talking about you specifically, but that would require basic reading comprehension. I wish I could see like what the fucking tweet was. You used your big ass platform to insinuate it and created a fucking dog pile. Shut the fuck up or clarify what you mean, dickhead. It's not my fault you people can't... I wish I had the context for what this is even referring to. Did you see how Armored Skeptic has completely gone goofy bonkers? I have not seen that. Go back a frame? How do you do that again? There was a way to do that. Wasn't there like a keystroke that would do that? Fuck. I don't know. All right, let me go back one frame.
And created self...
It's comma? Oh, it's comma and period? Okay, wait, hold on. Let me see if I
couldn't help myself but to chime in, since I was an ex-viewer, as well, who had to...
Okay. He was literally one of the people I watched when I fell down that fucking pipeline. He ate it in my anti-SJW phase, like literally. Poor thing. Maybe don't hate minorities in the first place. I don't know, dude. Like, I don't know. I like me. I never had to unlearn what first place. That shit's taught. I know what I thought was terrible, bigoted, and wrong. I regret it all the time and try every day to unlearn. Maybe you should do the same. I never had to unlearn because I never held those thoughts. I grew up in New York City. I know that everyone was an individual. It must be hard. It's like over the YouTube line. It must be hard to confront the fact that you helped, that you hated people for their immutable characteristics, and that's who you are at your core. Wish you the best.
Undo the damage done to me mentally. This led Chris Reagan to argue in my comments, downplaying his negative impact. Francesca at the time was going viral as she learned about the iDubbbz apology and called out those who harassed her, like Chris Reagan. She laid out all the receipts and pointed out the animation that was based on her that got...
This is so crazy. I can't believe this is still a point. Guys, Ain't No Rest for the Triggered is not about Francesca Ramsey. It's just not. I can't believe she's still on this. This is crazy. It's literally not. The fact that she thinks this is about her is really wild. Because I can't even express this enough. It's not about her. And I know that people are going to be like, well, isn't she in the background of the thumbnail? And it's like, yeah, but so are the Young Turks and like this fucking dreadlocks guy. Like, it was just a bunch of random like icons of the time to kind of get people, it was like popular faces to kind of get the idea of like the general culture of what I was talking about. It really had nothing to do with her. I just had no idea what to fucking put in that fucking smoke on the thumbnail. But it's truly wild the degree that she thinks that this is about her. I really am staggered by this to this day.
Millions of views. This video you're about to see by Francesca made me and others emotional as she candidly speaks her mind in pain. A lot transpires after this, so listen closely to what it said.
I didn't intend on making a video about this, but I'm so angry that like I just have to say something and just like get it out and let it go. So recently there's been a wave of people who've made bigoted content on the internet coming forward and apologizing. TikTok, we've got Kelly Cagdon. On YouTube, we have iDubbbz, I think is how you say his name. And in years past, we've had Shane Dawson. And all of these people I have different relationships with. So I hosted a show for MTV called MTV Decoded. I actually created the show. I wrote on the show. I hired tons of incredible people and made a lot of great content that I am very proud of. But at the time that the show was on, I dealt with a lot of harassment because of it from these people that labeled themselves anti-social justice warriors, anti-feminist on YouTube, including iDubbbz. And he made a number of videos where he used the N-word fully uncensored, where he put my face in videos and called me, and said that my work was cancer and like my work made him want. Most of these videos have been privated, so I can't show them to you, but I've seen them. And he created a culture and a fan base that then harassed me. So did Shane Dawson, right? Like doing blackface, saying the N-word, none of that stuff exists in a vacuum. Kelly Cagdon using her platform to demonize other trans people, demonize queer people, say that black people, enjoy being slaves. Like all of this contributes to a culture of harassment and the target being black people.
Never said any of this, by the way. I don't know why this is in the section about me, because this is like...
and queer people and women on the internet, including myself. And when these people suddenly have a...
Yeah, that's something too. Like, I don't remember iDubbbz ever talking about Francesca Ramsey ever. Like, I actually think she's confusing... Look, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I missed something serious. But I feel like that's something that I would be aware of because I have like a history with this person. But I don't remember a single video where iDubbbz ever talked about MTV Decoded or Francesca Ramsey at all. I think she confused him with me. And even in her confusion with me, she like invented fake videos in her head. Like, cause I swear to, I'm not being disingenuous when I say this. I really do not remember a single video ever that iDubbbz made about Francesca. I could be wrong. I'm totally open to that. I haven't seen everything that everybody's ever made, but I just feel like that's something that I would know about, A
change of heart. We're just supposed to accept their apology and move on. And I'm sorry, I can't. I can't move on, and I can't accept an apology when an apology is the least you can do. These people.
Maybe IDubbbz tweeted about. Maybe, I don't know. Like again, this is not like a hard stance. I'm not sitting there just like there's no fucking way. I know that's like the way that a lot of people want to engage in these types of things. Like, there's no way that this person's a good person. There's no way that this person isn't a not. Like, I know that everybody likes certainty, but I just straight up like I'm not gonna pretend to know something if I don't know it. But from my memory, I don't remember that being a thing.
People have made millions of dollars off of their hateful content. Millions of dollars off of my face and my name. People put my full government name in the caption, in the metadata, in the description box, on screen, my face, my headshot. There are people that have put my name on their IMDb to say that I've been in their videos harassing me. Okay, people have built entire careers off.
Dude, that is such a crazy. I think she accused me of that. She accused me of putting her in like an IMDb for my videos, which, by the way, I don't have an IMDb. I could give a fuck what's on IMDb. Like, I've never used it in my life. I don't. And I think I saw what they were talking about. Yeah, she accused me of like putting her name in like, she accused me of putting her name in my IMDb. And it's like, bitch, I don't have an IMDb. That's not real. Like, I don't have it. But she is right. Somebody did put like her name in like the credits for one of my videos on IMDb, but like, I don't do that. Like, that's not mine. So that's like just not true. You understand?
Of hateful, bigoted content. And now they have a change of heart, and we're all just supposed to accept it and move on.
I didn't. Let me just put it this way. I've had a reinforcement of heart. My heart's reinforced.
I'm sorry. Like, you cannot make a living off of my harassment and then assume that a sorry is enough. It's just really not. And then some of these people haven't said sorry at all, which again, bar is in hell. They just have like pivoted. They just suddenly started making content that's like a little less racist, a little less sexist, a little less homophobic. And if you bring up to them the shit
should go on the Snark Tank
that they've said in the past, I'm talking about you, Chris Ray Gun, or whatever you call yourself, then we're just supposed to pretend it didn't happen. We're supposed to pretend that you didn't use my face and my name and suggest that I was a grifter and that I hate all white people and I think all men should die, you know, and you didn't suggest to your audience that it was okay to treat me that way, right? We're just gonna pretend that didn't happen. I remember one time I was walking through the airport. It was like 6 o'clock in the morning. I was on my way to a speaking gig at a college in, I don't remember where. And this white kid comes up to me, and I would get recognized all the time. So it wasn't unusual for people to like see me and say hi. And so this white kid comes up to me in the airport, and he's like, oh my God, you're Francesca Ramsey. And I'm like, yeah, hi, whatever. I'm like tired. And I'm just like, hey. And he's like, do you know who IDubbbz is? And I was like, what? And he was like, yeah, I love IDubbbz's videos about you. And I was terrified in that moment, because I was realizing I'm face to face with someone that is a fan of someone that has made content about how much they hate me and what a terrible person I am and how I'm oppressing white people and how I'm oppressing men. So honestly, save me the fucking sorry. Save me the sorry. What about the money that you've made off of this hateful content? What about the culture that you have influenced where queer people, trans people, black people, women...
You know what that sounds like? That sounds like somebody at the time was like... That she... like, I think it was like, what do you call... The joke around that time that I was like an IDubbbz clone. So I think like it literally, I think she is literally confusing IDubbbz with me because of that interaction, because that fan was talking about me and my videos, but she just like called me IDubbbz to her. Like, cause like, I really swear to God, this never happened. But also, dude, like, I don't know, harassing people in the street or like in public is fucking crazy. I would never fucking support that. And if you do that, fuck you.
Don't feel fucking safe in this country because they know they're interacting with your fucking fans. What about that? Like, what's the compensation for?
By the way, I got assaulted at fucking VidCon 2017. No big deal.
For that, like, honestly, I would like to.
Someone literally they kicked me down in a crowd at a fucking crosswalk because of the stuff that other people were saying about me. So, like, I don't know, man. That sucked. But whatever, you know? I'm a public figure. I shouldn't have to deal with that. But, like, okay. I guess this is how it is. If you're gonna fucking make your opinion known, you get shit fucking happens. Yeah, I told the story ages ago. Like, I didn't make a big deal of it because I just kind of don't care at this point, especially. It's been like 7 years since that happened. But yeah, I was on the way to like meet some other people at a VidCon. I had my bag full of stuff and somebody like kicked me down at the crosswalk. Like, and I don't remember what they were saying, but like it was clear that they understood who I was and they didn't approve of what I was doing. Right. And so, yeah, I mean, I sympathize with like the idea of just like, dude, it's really fucked up that you know, people are really insane and that people will interpret critique as like basically like what, like an excuse to like treat people terribly. Like, I think that's terrible. You know, and I don't like that Franchesca Ramsey has to deal with those people, but I would also like her to not lie and like make shit up.
No, I really, like, y'all let me know when you figure that out. It's mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing. And throughout my career, despite like not cursing and having a smile and being respectable, I'm always painted as the angry black woman. Always. I'm always untalented. I'm always a harpy. I'm always, you know, making something out of nothing. Always. And now, well, I'm sorry is just supposed to wash it all away. Well, this is a response to everyone that's made harassing content about me over the course of my decade-plus career. Chris, Shane, iDubbbz, I don't even know what his fucking real name is. Apology not accepted. Will never be accepted. I am not looking to reform, be buddies with racists or bigots. I don't care what leaves you've turned over. It's not enough for me. It will never be enough for me. Stop asking me to forgive these people. I'm never going to do it.
A lot of what she said, I have throughout this video essay, so there's not too much I can add. Notice how she called out Chris Ray Gun by name, how the bar is in hell since he refuses to apologize at all. You think after getting that real, that Chewin Head and Chris Ray Gun would reflect, or even give the bare minimum apology, that their humanity would finally show up. But
wow, she literally cut out. I think there was literally another tweet. Because it says also, right? I think there's a tweet before this where it's just like, I think I literally said, yeah, I don't endorse any of like it was something along the lines of like, wow, that's really shit. Like, I don't like that people, you know, harass you or whatever. Like, that's lame and fucking stupid. Like, it was something along the lines of, and this was like the follow-up tweet that says also, because like there's misinformation in her video that I, you know, listen, maybe I'm old-fashioned. And it's probably why I hate the modern right wing so much, but I really loathe misinformation. So I just wanted to, at the very least, call it out when I saw it. And is this not like a fucking charitable way to speak, by the way? Also, I saw your accusation that I paid IMDb to credit you in my work. Also, that's untrue. I've never even had an IMDb account, and I don't know who runs it. I would also like it gone if I can. So if I can help get it nuked somehow, I'd be happy to. I have no clue how or you know, how to go about that. Is that not like a? I feel like I'm just acting like a normal person.
Nope, they tripled down. It's frustrating to read these tweets and see them further attack her. He even goes as far to deny the animation isn't even of her.
It's not.
The animator popped up in the comments to try to support Chris Ray Gun's claim.
Chris Ray Gun's fact. Guys, listen, Soul Bunny, I don't know if you're watching this. This is not the route you want to go down because it's so wrong, it's embarrassing. And I think it actually, like, it weakens your overall video. Because there are certain points where, like, I agree with you. Where, like, oh, yeah, the All Lives Matter stuff and, like, you know, that I think that's, like, a solid argument. But the idea that you're trying to go into this video and then close it out like, oh, well, this video is clearly about her. I don't care what the authors or the artists say. Why would I lie? Like, why would I give a shit? I've made videos about you. Granted, like, maybe 2, 3 max. But, like, why would I lie? I would just say, yeah, it's about you. Or I just wouldn't deny. Like, there would be no reason to deny it if it was true. I'm just telling you a fact because there are no facts being portrayed. I don't get what's so difficult to figure out.
But I'll debunk that lie shortly. After we watch Chris's
She's gonna debunk it. I cannot fucking wait to see what the evidence. What evidence could she possibly like? She snuck into my apartment and like read my fucking brain.
To gaslight us in this Cope live stream.
I don't think I said anything particularly hostile today. I was a little snarky for sure. It's a really cool fan fiction you got there. And it's a little snarky, but like I mean like I. Oh yeah. Your fan fiction is pretty neat. Okay, so what I said wasn't exactly super nice. I was pretty annoyed by it. So never mind. Your fanfiction is pretty neat, but this is pure projection in a way that's honestly wild to see. The cartoon character is not you, and it never has been. The tweet referenced in the video is also not accurate. Wild to see you to still see you so confidently wrong. It's just I don't know what to tell you, dude. The accusation is so narcissistic and absorbed. Like that's me. She was like, who else has a show and has and. So you never made content about me. Is that not my face in the thumbnail? What tweet inspired this song? Why did you choose a cartoon black girl with locks? What other black woman hosted a show with locks in 2017? It's so insane. And is black and has locks. And it's like, the girl in the cartoon doesn't have a show. Because that's not you.
Yeah, which
and
is...
it's so... She goes like, because she goes like, that character like whines about, like that character in the video like promotes a Patreon after getting Chris fired. I never did that. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, you didn't.
Because it's not
Because
you.
it's not you.
It bugs me to see him have the nerve to call her narcissistic, given all the signifiers he gave her. Me being an art major.
Well, dude, she inserted herself into a situation that didn't have anything to do with her. Like, I don't know what... Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, it's just she inserted herself into a situation that genuinely, authentically, from the bottom of my heart, had nothing to do with her. Like, it just wasn't about it. You know? I don't know what to tell you. I feel there's a voice inside of me that's telling me to like go all in, where it's like I'm like to be rude and just be like, I know you need to see yourself in things, but like this is not you, and it's genuinely psychotic to think that this is you, and you know, fucking get over it. So I'm not gonna do that. But I will say, I don't throw terms like narcissism around necessarily all that often. I think it's a pretty serious term. But I will say that inserting yourself in it, like, I don't know, man, seeing that character in the Rest for the Triggered video and just assuming that it's you because you're the only person who could possibly look like that, especially when the story that part of the video was about had nothing to do with you, and there's like a bunch of signifiers that indicate that it isn't you. I don't know. Just seeing yourself in that just seems a little self-centered. I don't know what's in Franchesca Ramsey's heart. I'm sure she's a fine person. I'm sure her family loves her very much. And I don't even really hate her. She's not like a Cat Black type figure to me, where she never like overstepped the line personally to me. But I do think like the idea that all of this criticism was just not warranted, or that it just came out of nowhere, it was just purely racist, is just like insane. I'm sure a lot of people probably acted that way, but that's not me, dude. I don't know what to tell you.
Major knew this didn't add up, so I tweeted at the artist, since it just didn't add up. The woman in this picture isn't you, source the artist. Yeah, that's not Franchesca Ramsey. This is, by the way, in reference, this entire section of the video, it was an innocuous tweet. I didn't really think much of it at the time. She's talking about the story that she's assuming is her, where she's like, oh, I didn't get you fired. Yes, this is Donglegate. Somebody in the chat knows. There was some joke about a dongle. It was at some computer conference, and then it was like some joke about a dongle. And somebody got fired over it, and it was like a very silly thing that happened. And now I was not in charge of the art direction of this video. That was David Rossi. He like had full control over like how everybody looked or whatever. But it's literally not about Franchesca Ramsey, the story. The character is entirely made up, and it's not supposed to be representative of her. And the fact that she looks at a black character with like dreads and just assumes that must be me is insane, because she's not the only black person to wear dreads. And it bothers me that I even have to say this stuff, because I'm sure people are going to look at this as like, look at Chris Reagan, alt-right, fucking, you know,
fucking talking down on women again. It's like, no, dude, I'm just defending like the obvious facts that are just not present in a lot of these accusations. I don't like that videos that I made cause people to have a rough time. That sucks. And I think I would authentically apologize, but not like to the internet. You know, I could give a fuck what the internet thinks. And apparently she doesn't want an apology, so who cares? I feel like the best apology honestly, guys, the best apology is to just stay away from each other. That's my apology to Franchesca Ramsey. Is like, I'm not going to be a part of your life anymore, and you're not going to be a part of my life anymore. And then she inserts herself with this random fucking thing where like this music video is about me. I'm going to fucking respond. I don't want to. But what am I left to do? This is why I hate the modern right wing. It's just like full of fucking misinformation. It's like, oh, Kamala's crowds are AI. And it's like, are you fucking insane? So like when I see misinformation that I can absolutely prove without a shadow of a doubt, then like, yeah, I'm going to jump on it because less information is better than unchallenged misinformation.
Especially when this is from an era where black people were made fun of for asking for representation.
So where is the inspiration coming from? Because as a fellow black artist, I don't believe you magically came up with a black design completely from your imagination. Why? You were reinforcing stereotypes on her that y'all bigots constantly threw on her, won't even admit that this is racist. So literally, you know what's wild is that like, if I just depicted just white people in the video, would there have been people being like, notice how he doesn't put black people, notice how he doesn't even put black people in his fucking drawing videos. Notice how he doesn't even draw black, like, I don't know, man. There's really no winning with these things. It really is crazy.
Where none was found. The math was.
It also show like it's weird. It's weird that this is coming from somebody on a drawing stream, because you kind of have to know on some level that when you draw, you're not always drawing a person. Sometimes you're just drawing like what your brain wants to draw, and then like after like it's done, you like, oh, that looks a little bit like this person. You know how many times? So I don't know if anybody listens to the Snark Tank or not, but on the Snark Tank, sometimes at the end when we're reading the names, I'll pass it off to somebody else and I'll draw just nonsense on on the whiteboard that we have. And sometimes, actually most of the time, it's literally just starting with just random shapes and just seeing where it goes. I don't have anybody in mind when I'm drawing it, unless the goal is like literally to draw somebody. But like the idea that it's like impossible, it's like, where do you pull your reference from, David? Like the idea that like just conjuring up a design that, by the way, look, David Roszi's a great artist. I like him a lot. This is not a complicated design. Like, with all due respect. Like, this is not some impossible feat of creative engineering. Like, this is literally it's a circle. with respect to David Rossi, I can't imagine that conceptualizing this character took more than 15 seconds. And again, it's a reference to Donglegate. It's not about you. Because as I said in my original stream rebuttal to this, a Patreon after getting Chris fired. I never did that. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, you didn't.
Because it's not
because
you.
it's not you.
It bugs me to see him have the nerve to call her narcissistic, given all the signifiers he gave her. Me being an art major knew this didn't add.
I don't superimpose myself onto things that are just not about me just so I can have something to talk about. That's all I'll say.
So I tweeted at the artist, since it just didn't add up.
I don't understand why it didn't add up. Like, it's so difficult for that really blows my mind. Coming from like somebody who's like apparently an artist. It's very weird.
Especially when this is from an era where black people were made fun of for asking for representation, where none was found. The math wasn't mathing. So I directly asked where the inspiration came from. He said the quiet part out loud. What a hilarious impersonation of a racist idiot. There you have it. From the artist himself. Let it big.
Oh.
Gorilla penis.
That was an amazingly timed donation. I gotta hear that again because I think I maybe look. Thank you, Jabibis.
Her narcissistic, given all the signifiers he gave her. Me being an art major knew this didn't add up, so I tweeted out.
Me being an art major knew this didn't add up. As an art major, I know it's impossible to just conjure up designs just from the nebulous thoughts of your imagination transmitting onto the page. I know that's insane. Like, what kind of an artist would be able to just make up designs like off the fly? Like, what the fuck? A skilled artist, maybe? Like, nah, that can't be it.
The artist, since it just didn't add up, especially when this is from an era where Black people were made fun of for asking for representation, where none was found. The math wasn't mathing, so I directly asked where the inspiration came from. He said the quiet part out loud. What a hilarious impersonation of a racist idiot. There you have it. From
I'm not sure there's enough time in the day to talk about how genuinely stupid that point is. Guys, we need reading comprehension is so important. And by the way, this person is not stupid because they're black or because they're nothing about their immutable characteristics makes them stupid. So I don't want anybody like going into the fucking chat or fucking whatever and just like being a shithead. But this is a stupid point. Like it is one of the stupidest arguments I think I have ever heard in my entire time doing YouTube stuff. This might be the worst point I've ever heard being made against me. Reading comprehension is important. I recommend everybody, even if you think your reading comprehension is solid, take a class, just like brush up on it real quick, because we're missing a great deal of educational ability here. No disrespect. Let me make this completely clear from artist to artist. You did not pull this black woman design in 2016 completely from your imagination. No evidence as to why that can't be true. In fact, common sense would dictate that that's incredibly possible. But even just throwing that outside, you based it on Francesca. Assertion with no evidence. To further reinforce bigoted stereotypes on anti-black racist women. The tweet was about a dongle, had nothing really to do with race at all. It just so happened to be a woman of color, and I think in all likelihood that was done from an artistic perspective to juxtapose the characters easier. I don't know that for sure. I didn't speak to David Razzie. In fact, I had no input on what the art design was for the video at all. I just gave him the lyrics and the song, and he just made it himself. So even if this what's funny about it is that even if it was based on her, it wouldn't have been my decision anyway. But it isn't. The animation is racist as fuck. Period. There's nothing racist about it. But David Razzie says, "What a hilarious impersonation of a racist idiot." So what Soul Bunny is assuming is being said here is that the drawing is a hilarious impersonation of a racist idiot. The racist idiot being Francesca Ramsey. That is at least the only way that I can look at this from her perspective and think of it as like a gotcha. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, he admitted that it's a racist impersonation of, or like he admitted that it's an impersonation of a racist idiot, which she believes from my perspective is my thoughts on Francesca Ramsey. What David Razzie is saying is that her tweet seems like she's trying to impersonate a racist bigot because the idea that this black character needed to be based on like this very specific person and that nobody could possibly look like this is really stupid. Look, that was the worst possible end that you could have possibly chosen. But I don't even know what to say at this point. Whatever. Is that the end of it, or is there more?
From the artist himself, let a bigot talk and they'll tell on themselves when pressed with the right questions. Chris Ray Gun and the animator tried hiding behind the technicality of it not technically being her.
No, it just isn't.
It's a game of semantics.
No, it's not a game of semantics. It's a game of like reality, and it's just not. Why would I not say? Why would I even make this a fight? Like, if it was her, I'd be like, yeah. I don't get it. Oh my God.
As this all started to come to a wrapping point, I dropped one last tweet that got the devil themselves responding.
Oh, I'm the devil now, by the way, guys. I'm the devil. So I believe the rhetoric that is being shared here is very responsible. I sure hope nobody assaults me on the street again because they think I'm the devil. Soul Bunny might want to be like a little bit more responsible with the stuff that she says. I bet she doesn't even give a shit about Andrew Tate. You know what I mean? Like, I bet she looks at Andrew Tate, it's like, oh, whatever. But like for me, it's like, one of the biggest anti-SJWs from 2014 to 2016 or 2017 era, claiming his anti-intellectual content was leftist. I've definitely introspected. Unfortunately for you, nothing I've ever said falls outside of a left-wing view. So fuck off and die. Yeah, I mean, I think that's true. I don't think I've ever really said anything that's like outside of I've never said anything that is exclusively not left-wing. Like, I've said things that like could be like independent, but at least from what I remember, maybe there's gonna be like a big bomb at the end of this.
It's so rich reading the comments coming from him.
You can't you guys really can't conceptualize anything more complicated than a binary first graded ass view of ass worldview, huh? All right, let's play ball. You're in an echo chamber defending your bigoted content against anti-racist rhetoric that today is common sense leftism. Huh? Is that like when I called Hillary Clinton a really corrupt, terrible person, and I said that she was going to doom the 2016 election if she won because she's just not a good candidate, and everybody called me sexist because of it, and now that's commonplace, and now that's a commonplace leftist opinion? Things like that, where like I was called a sexist for like calling Hillary Clinton like a corrupt, unlikable person and never mentioning the fact that she was a woman, or like never downplaying the fact that like it had anything to do with her womanhood. And now everybody's like free to make fun of Hillary Clinton. Is that what we're talking about? It is wild to make this video about me at a time when like the Quartering, Melanie Mack, Andrew Tate, all of these fucking losers are out there currently profiting and currently just doing exactly the shit that they're upset about me doing 7 years ago. That, by the way, is like Fisher Price in comparison. Go listen to the Snark Tank. Go listen to our political episodes of the Snark Tank.
So Chris Ray Gun, this is me playing ball a year later. I apologize for everyone that got
a year later. Jesus Christ, I forgot that I even said this.
Psychic damage for watching this video till the end. People weren't being critical enough or didn't cover the needed angles for iDubbbz, and I couldn't find a video on Chris Ray Gun.
Yeah, because nobody has good... The reason you haven't found a video on me is because no one has a good standing point. I'm not a perfect person by any means. I've made mistakes interpersonally and professionally, certainly. But, like, there's no real good videos about me because I have, unfortunately for you, and a lot of people who hate me, a lot of people like... Soul Bunny on maybe the left side of the aisle, or even like somebody like Heels versus Babyface on the right. I've just remained so consistent, and no one has remained as consistent as me online, especially. That Andy Pants Gaming guy who's who got into it with the Act Man about like this whole right wing grift like a year ago was making like pro diversity videos. So like you can't nail me, dude. I know that must be frustrating because like, I feel sometimes like I'm a white whale in some way. You know what I mean? Like, I'm so many people's Moby Dick, and I've never thought about them once. It's kind of awesome. But if I make stupid people angry, then honestly, I feel pretty good about it.
2 perfect examples why quickly giving forgiveness to bigots who haven't done the work isn't a good idea. I've come to terms with whatever might come my way for making this video. What matters more to me is that Black, brown, disabled, and queer people feel seen. I also wanted to put some respect on our girl Francesca's name. She's owed so many apologies and more. I lastly want to mention that I'm having a fundraiser live stream Friday 12 p.m. PST/3 p.m. EST. I've been off of my HRT for 3 months, which greatly undone almost all my progress I made in a year. So if you want to help out and learn more, attend Friday with me, Turb, and other creators that will be present. Thank you.
Damn. I wish I saw this when I first went live. I would have donated some to the fundraiser. Alas. Anyway, guys. That's I don't know. That's the video that everybody was in my DMs like the last week telling me about. Like, I kept seeing like Soul Bunny made a video about you. What are your thoughts on it? And I just kind of wasn't checking, and I saw them all today, basically. And I was like, yeah, let me give it a shot. I don't know. I watched the first 5 minutes, and I thought, like, I should do this on stream. You know? That wasn't worth it at all. I mean, it was... Look, man. It's pretty fascinating. But, yeah, I appreciate you guys, joining me through this. This is a little bit longer than I anticipated. We turned a 43-minute video, by the way, longer than any video I've ever made about anybody, into 2.5 hours. 2 out of 10 video. Yeah, not the best. My enemies never send their best because by virtue of being my enemy, you would have to be like kind of stupid and insane. Like I just... I feel like so much of what I think is so commonplace and reasonable. And even just the way that I think about some of the old stuff that I make. Like, yeah, I mean, I'm totally fine acknowledging when I was wrong in videos. I don't mind that. But what's wild is to just assume like, oh, this video is about this person and oh, he made an IMDb just to get my name associated with his. It's like, dude, you really think that I care about IMDb? People give me shit all the time because I've seen like 3 movies and they're all Spider-Man 2. Like, I don't care about movies enough to fucking make an IMDb. I wonder if that IMDb is still up. IMDb Chris Raygun. TV series. Like, what the fuck? Writer, previous. Yeah, like, I just don't know what the fuck this is. Kadikarus? Fortnite Battle Royale? People really, like, put YouTube videos on IMDb? That's so crazy. I've seen Spider-Man 2 3 times. It's in my entire movies. Yeah, I don't know. It's just the weird accusations. Like, it's one thing to, like, if you're going to come at me and say, like, hey, listen, your videos affected people and it made them really uncharitable to me and made them, like, it played a part in people being, like, really dickish to me in public and it made me feel unsafe. That's one thing. And I would, you know what? I'd feel totally fine apologizing for that because that's ultimately not the intent of anything that I've ever made. I was definitely, like, a lot meaner in older videos. But it's, you know, you're playing things up for the camera. You don't really think about how people are going to be interpreting that and like channeling that outward. So I'm totally fine to apologize for the things that I did do and some of the things that I did, even if it's inadvertently. But when you mix in this kind of ploy for an apology or this ploy for sympathy with a bunch of like accusations that I know are just false, well, it's hard for me to feel like anybody's really acting honestly, you know? So why would I engage cordially with somebody that I feel is being actively dishonest? The video isn't about you. The cartoon's not about you. The tweet wasn't your tweet. Yeah, I mean, that's really all there is to say. Whatever. Anyway, that's probably where, if this VOD does make it onto the second channel or whatever, maybe that's where I'll cut it, I guess. You should be enjoying Silent Hill 2 instead of concerning yourself with this disingenuous ass video. I like to engage. I like to engage sometimes. You know?